renewed appeal on climate change.
Let this be the moment. We find within ourselves. Clean energy economy. Preserve our.
Hey, it's us.
Hi, what's up? It's pre-show time. Get ready for pre-show. It's right there. It says it. Pre-show.
Pre-show.
You should ask if they can hear you.
Pre-show.
Can you hear me? Can you hear Hannah?
Can you hear Brad?
Can you hear Brad? It would be weird if you could only hear Hannah and Brad. And
That
not
That'd
me.
be
might
nice.
actually be an upgrade.
Yeah. Let us know if you have that version.
Well, Hannah's going to give you the show rundown because it's pre-show.
Pre-show.
All right, at 12:45, what do we have?
Wiggins
You
America.
Thank
can't
you.
lead with Wiggins America every single
Every
time.
We only do it because we know it bothers you, Annie.
Thanks. Appreciate it. I get the rest of the show.
It's Wednesday, so you know what that means. Deroy Murdock will be joining the show at 1:05, and then Brad.
Yeah,
we
we-
have a 2 o'clock hour.
Well, we have Thomas DeVore. He's making he's doing a press conference, and he's going to join us immediately following his press conference, where I am assuming he's making a big announcement. They haven't told us much about it. They just said this is a really big press conference, and that they're going to join us right after that. So it could be as late as 12:30, but it could be earlier, depending on how long that press conference goes.
2:30.
I'm sorry, did I say 3:30?
No, it's 12:30.
3:30.
3:30, that'd be
You said
more
12:30.
Okay, listen, we've thrown a bunch of numbers out there. It could be as late as 2:30.
I have an idea.
But
Just watch
if-
the whole show. He'll be here sometime.
Right.
Yeah, you
But it
don't
could
know.
be earlier, so you don't want to wait until 2:30. You want to be here the whole time. And besides that, the show's fun. It's entertaining. You like us. That's why you're watching us right now.
And the YouTube poll. Do you pay attention to election polls?
Not me.
That is
I'm a no.
that is a fake news answer, Ryan.
I am unbothered by that.
Leave a comment if you can remember anything about this shirt Ryan's wearing.
So looking forward to Wednesday because Wednesday is notoriously the craziest day of the show. As you know, Fridays we kind of bring it back down before the weekend, but Wednesdays is the peak.
Are you insulting Wednesdays?
Nope.
Maybe.
Can
Maybe.
you hear Annie when she says things? Or am I responding to nobody? Am I just sort of yelling out comments?
You do that anyway,
Yeah, that's all the
Ryan.
time.
I feel like we've stalled out on people joining the stream. I wonder why.
Oh, huge
Why is it
question.
that you're taking up half of the screen and Hannah literally has half an eyeball
I
on the
can't
screen?
move over anymore. Here, what about this? Better? There?
I think
There you
this is
go.
better.
Big question. We only have like a minute left here. Maybe a little bit more. Big question. Should I wear, I wore a hat today. And then I thought, this hat looks kind of stupid. But now I'm looking at myself on camera. And I think that I still look kind of stupid. So,
Was this the same hat you wore yesterday?
no, this is a new hat. That's why I don't know, I'm not feeling really
If it
confident.
goes with your new coat, I say yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know that it does.
Your hat match your shirt?
No. But the theme matches. It's a hat I don't normally wear because it's
Is it a bucket
not a
hat?
sports hat.
Bucket hat?
No, I mean it's a baseball hat, but it's not. It doesn't have sports on it. It has something else. I'll wear it at 12:45. You can just see, and you can tell me whether I should keep it on or not.
There you have it, guys. Worth tuning in. What does Ryan's hat look like?
And it has a date on it.
Ooh!
It has a specific date right here. If I wear it backwards, that you guys can, figure out if you can what that date was, because that's why the hat exists.
Okay.
Okay, it's a little bit of a mystery.
All right.
All right.
This
And-
is an entire pre-show about Wiggins America.
It really is.
Yeah, I don't know what else it's gonna ever be.
That's true.
Yeah. We may need to bump Ryan out of this if we want to focus on the rest of the show.
Yeah, I may need to do just Wednesdays because they're lit.
Lit.
All right, guys.
Feed
Thanks for
store.
joining us.
Attention
And,
veterans. If you were stationed at Camp Lejeune between
Yeah.
1953 and 1987, you and your family may be victims of toxic water poisoning. Cancers, birth defects, deadly illnesses have all been linked to the contaminated water. Congress is now holding the government accountable. You could be awarded financial compensation for your suffering, but you must act now. Visit sickvets.com for your free case review by True Law. That's sickvets, like veterans.com. Sickvets.com. Visit sickvets.com.
Would you like a cleaning product that can be used in the garage, the laundry, and the kitchen, and save space in your cabinet? Hi, I'm Bruce Fabrizio, inventor of Simple Green. To learn more, visit us at simplegreen.com.
The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, The Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins.
Listen to The Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
There are many ways to listen. Most choose radio. But have you tried streaming? Download the Odyssey app and you can stream 97.1 with one touch. Or try it touchless by telling your smart speaker to play it.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
On the border, why is the border more overwhelmed under your watch, Mr. President?
Because there are three countries that are there are fewer immigrants coming from Central America and from Mexico. This is a totally different circumstance. What's on my watch now is Venezuela, Cuba, and Nicaragua. And the ability to send them back to those states is not rational. You could send them back and have them, we're working with Mexico and other countries to see if we can stop the flow. But that's the difference.
So when you listen to the president of the United States saying, hey, we got a question from the press. We've got a big migrant problem here in the United States. Pretty obvious, huh? He says, well, you know what? These countries that are coming, that have people who are fleeing them. What did he say? Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Cuba? Those three countries, we can't send these people back to those countries. So we're saying that there's nothing about those countries that is redeemable, that we should absorb anybody who wants to come here. I mean, to me, he just invited three countries worth of people to say, you have sanctuary in the United States. Isn't that what he said?
I mean, yeah, you said to me, but that's not just to you. That is literally what he said. He just implied that, hey, there's nothing good about your country, so just come here, and we're not going to send you back because those countries are really bad, and we can't send you back to those bad countries.
Isn't that an invitation for more people?
It is absolutely an invitation. For more people.
Man, I don't know that that's what he was thinking. I'm no immigration legal expert, so maybe I could stand corrected, and someone could explain why that wasn't what he was saying. But the implication that everybody who's coming across the United States-Mexico border is Mexican, I think a lot of Americans understand that that's not the case. And that Mexico isn't enforcing its own southern border and is in turn causing us to have a problem on their northern border.
Right. And whenever you are drawing immigrants from countries that are in South America, you're creating a problem for Mexico because all of those immigrants that are heading to the United States actually strain the Mexican facilities, the Mexican economy, the Mexican population, because they have to pass through. And Mexico's a big, long country. This isn't like, they're just barely passing through. The vast majority of their journey is going to be spent in Mexico. And that's a lot of stress on that country as well.
One of the main reasons why President Trump, when he was the president, put so much pressure on Mexico to get its act together and actually ended up having a pretty strong working relationship with the Mexican government to try to get this problem under control. I haven't seen President Biden do or say anything. In fact, now he's really more suggesting that the problem is not from those countries that many people assume that they're coming from. The problem is really these others. And those countries are so bad that we're just going to take them. I don't think that America is up for that. Ron DeSantis surely hasn't.
So when Biden is flying these people all over the fruited plain in the middle of the night, I didn't hear a peep out of those people, okay? I didn't hear a peep. I haven't heard a peep about all the people that have been told by Biden you can just come in, and they're being abused by the cartels. They're drowning in the Rio Grande. You had 50 that died in some shed in Texas. I heard no outrage about any of that. I haven't heard outrage about all the fentanyl that's come across the border that's killing Americans in record numbers. I don't hear outrage about the criminal aliens that have gotten through and have then victimized people, not only in Florida, but all throughout the country. I didn't hear any outrage about that. The only thing I hear them getting upset about is you have 50 that end up in Martha's Vineyard. Then they get really upset.
And that's exactly why he did what he did. That's exactly why Ron DeSantis sent those migrants, 50 of them, to Martha's Vineyard. Now there is a suggestion that there's some activist lawyers, of course, who are getting behind some of these migrants and saying, hey, we're going to help you sue. We're going to help you sue Governor DeSantis. Good grief. These people don't have any understanding of how obvious political motives are behind their movements on this particular issue. And Ron DeSantis, the number one thing that people are chastising Ron DeSantis for is making a political move. It's not about the issue of immigration. Nobody is talking about, when they're criticizing Ron DeSantis, the idea that these people should be here, that they're right to be here. They only want to use it as an opportunity to attack Ron DeSantis, because the only thing that matters to these people is winning a political fight. It doesn't matter if all the walls are on fire around them, if they're standing in the middle and they feel like they're winning. Now they want to try to use this as an opportunity to sue Ron DeSantis because, yes, we're gonna try to win the next political battle. Here's Marco Rubio.
In what country in the world are you allowed to enter illegally into a country violating its laws and within a week be in court suing the very government whose laws you've just violated? Well, that's what we hear today, that the 48 migrants from Venezuela who violated our laws a week ago and entered the country illegally are now suing. They're now in court, they have a lawyer, and they're suing. This is incredible. No other country in the world would allow that. And the other hypocrisy here is all of these people in the media, in politics, going around saying that we have an obligation to assume this responsibility of caring for millions of people who are coming, have come, or want to come. Who assumes the responsibility? Who's supposed to pay for it? Who's supposed to pay for all this? Because they don't want to pay for it. They don't want it. What they're basically saying is we should allow anyone who comes here illegally to come and to stay, and that we should assume that responsibility, but only if they stay in Florida, but only if they stay in Texas. Not if they come to New York, not if they come to Massachusetts, not if they come to Washington, D.C. They're hypocrites, and they're radical leftists who want to destroy this country. There's nothing that Americans despise more than hypocrisy. There's nothing that makes people perk their heads up to issues more than the idea that somehow or another somebody's getting access to something just because of how they were born or where they were born into. I mean, that's honestly one of the main things. It's actually the heart of which politics exists on, is the idea of fairness. And every good politician makes sure that you think that the system is set up to be unfair against you, to everybody. Whatever demographical bucket you fit in for that stump speech at that time, oftentimes on both sides of the aisle as well. In order to have a successful political campaign, guess what? You have to be made to feel as if the system is set up against you. And if you are able to be made to feel that way, then somebody can sell you the solution to that unjust unfairness, that imbalance. But what ends up happening is the people who can successfully sell you that over and over and over again, they stay in power. And they sell you the same solutions every 2, 4, 6 years. It's pretty maddening. And I think the American people see this. We have so much information at our fingertips. We have so much opportunity right now to hear straight from individuals, straight from the people who are in power, straight from people who actually have the ability to do something. And they're always telling us how they're going to make a difference. They're always telling us how they're going to sell us that solution. And in an effort to tell us how they are the ones who are going to sell us the solution, it's really a lot more about telling us how the other guy is going to perpetuate the problem. So much so that the other guy actually is the problem. Steve Scalise was speaking.
And Republicans have tried over and over again to bring legislation to the floor
to secure our southern border, and Democrats want nothing of it. They want an open border. Kamala Harris, who President Biden put in charge of the border, still refuses to go down to the border and then acts like she's in denial, goes on TV and says the border's secure. And then, of course, we saw a busload of illegal migrants coming to the Naval Observatory right outside of her house as she's saying the border's secure. And they're all being interviewed saying they came to America illegally because they know the border's wide open under the Biden administration. They created this problem. They don't want to fix it. We will.
I hear you, Steve Scalise. I hear you saying you're going to solve this problem. I hear you saying that the Democrats are the problem. I do believe that the Democrat policy is the problem. I do believe that politics have been at the epicenter of everything that the Democrats have done on immigration, essentially because day one initiative from the Biden administration was to undo everything that the previous administration had done on virtually every issue. It was a promises made, promises kept moment to undo everything that had been done in the 4 years prior. Unfortunately, that is terrible policy. Unfortunately, that has made our country less safe. Republicans in the House, where Steve Scalise is, if Republicans are able to get the 20 seats or so, maybe more, maybe a few less that people are suggesting they might get in this midterm election, if they get it in the House, and if they even gain 2 seats in the Senate, who was it that was just saying that was it Rick Scott? I think it was Rick Scott.
It is Rick Scott.
Gosh, I got weird things rolling around in my head. Rick Scott was just saying that he believes they will net 2 seats. So there'd be a 52-seat majority of Republicans in the Senate. If that happens, guess what? Joe Biden still isn't going to sign legislation that they're going to put forward, even if they could get it past the 60-vote threshold that would be needed for something like that in the Senate. The Republicans aren't going to be able to act in the next 2 years with that majority. Is it still worth getting the majority? Well, let's listen to Senator Rick Scott.
I think we have 52. I think we're clearly going to defend. We're going to defend and keep 50. Ron Johnson's ahead in his poll. Mehmet Oz has come back and is really barely behind. We're defining Fetterman. Ted Budd's ahead in the polls there. Herschel Walker's ahead. Adam Laxalt's ahead. As people get to know Blake Master, he's going to beat Kelly. We just got through the primary in New Hampshire. Hassan is underwater, and her fave big. Biden's way underwater. We got a great candidate barely behind in Colorado. Tiffany Smiley barely behind Patty Murray. So we're going to have 52 plus.
52 plus. I like it. I like the confidence. I like the attitude. But if you pay attention to what is being reported in the polls, there's the suggestion, of course, that it's not going to go that way, that the Democrats are gaining some steam as we move closer to the election. That's today's YouTube live chat poll. Do you pay attention to election polls? Yes or no? I'm not asking if you believe them. I'm asking if you pay attention to them. Yes or no? You go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, and in the live chat section there, you'll see the poll is live, and you can vote yes or no. And I'd love to hear your comments, especially if you do believe if you do pay attention to them, tell me which ones in the comments you pay attention to. Hannah is watching your comments, and we'll cover some of that at 2:45 at the end of the show when we give the results of the YouTube poll. We have to be vigilant as voters, as people who are living the reality of the policies that have been put into place by this administration, that we have to be very vigilant as people who are not far away from massive government overlording during COVID, where they took away many of our freedoms. I look back to those first 2 weeks that we participated in this. There was fear. There was a sense of community, I think, from people all across the board. I think it did bring people together in a way that it took people apart from one another, that we hadn't done in a long way, but that dissipated so quickly. And then you look at a country where we are the United States of America, and you see 50 separate states with 50 different governors reacting to a pandemic in drastically different ways. Look where we are right now. Look at the progress that these states have made. Look at where the economies of these states have progressed. Look at which states still have emergency orders in effect. Blue and red really, really does matter. It does make a difference, but we have to be sure that they understand, whomever they are, representing us in any kind of local, state, federal government position, that they have to represent us. Don't turn over your value as an American citizen to some political party. Your value as an American citizen is in you, an individual free person, a liberated individual with God-given rights. That's the value of the American citizen. Do not turn that over and put your card in a box that's red or in a box that's blue and put your identity there. They need to be coming to you and asking for your thoughts, your opinions, so that they can represent you. Make them wear your uniform. We're going to take a quick break. I want to get your votes in on the live chat poll. Do you pay attention to election polls? Not YouTube polls, election polls. Big difference. Ours are incredibly scientific, especially if you participate right now. The Annie-Frey YouTube channel. Go there, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell while you are there, and you'll get notified when we go live each day. But in the live chat section, do you pay attention to election polls? Yes or no? Get some of your comments in there as well. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the midterms. On the show today, we have Deroy Murdock at 1:05. We're going to talk to him about some of the migrant political crisis issues that we have been facing, alongside the real impactful issues that our country faces and the lack of interest and security on our southern border. We're going to take a quick break. More Annie-Frey Show in just a minute. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Reach the shore, you give it all, but I want more. And I'm waiting for you. With or without you.
Talk saves lives. Join us for Odyssey's I'm Listening Special, our annual 2-hour national mental health conversation, Wednesday, September 21st at 6 p.m. Hear from some of the biggest names in music and sports, insights from respected mental health professionals, and of course, your stories. Join us for a constructive and supportive conversation about our mental wellness, right here and on the free Odyssey app.
Listen live tonight on your home for conservative talk, 97.1 FM Talk.
Air Comfort Service online at aircomfortservice.com. Have you reached out to them to check in on your heating and air conditioning unit quite yet? If you haven't, I'm going to give you this number. You can save it in your phone and get to them when it is convenient for you. 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. They have helped us in the Frey household with a host of issues. But we replaced our furnace a couple Christmases ago. They had previously installed a smart thermostat, which I highly, highly, highly recommend being able to have, especially when energy prices are so high. It helps you manage the temperature in your home from anywhere that you are. But we were going to turn the furnace up a little bit. We checked our house, and I think it was like 53 degrees in the house. The furnace was not heating. We had to make an emergency call to Air Comfort Service. They came out. They treated us great. They told us how much to fix it. They told us how much to replace it. And we made the decision with a 20-year-old unit to just go ahead and invest in a new one with Air Comfort Service. You can trust the people there to take care of you. You can trust the people there to treat you right and to give you value along with the best customer service. 314-513-0091. You can find them online at aircomfortservice.com.
Is your portfolio positioned for the biggest risks facing investors today? Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. We have experienced tremendous economic changes in the last year. Today, historically low interest rates and spiking inflation present new risks and opportunities for investors. If you haven't made changes to your investments in the last year, it's time for a portfolio review. With 100 years of combined experience, our team can help you prepare for the risks relevant to today's investors. Contact the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel to request a free portfolio review at clearpathinvesting.com or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Do you struggle with occasional nerve aches in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 nerve care company. Nervive tablets contain alpha-lipoic acid to relieve nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort, plus B-complex vitamins to support healthy nerve function as you age. Live life with less nerve discomfort with Nervive Nerve Relief. Learn more at nervivehealth.com. And try Nervive Pain Relieving Cream to block nerve pain signals at the source. Use as directed.
Dell Technologies' semi-annual sale has arrived, and it's time to upgrade to the latest business technology. Save big on laptops and desktops with Windows 11 Pro. Plus, get amazing deals on server, storage, and cloud solutions, as well as top work accessories, including docks, monitors, and more. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL for special business offers during our semi-annual sale.
Springtime in St. Louis, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted.
Rob, tell everyone how the experience was with Rhino Shield from start to finish.
The process that I liked was when you came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. Our building was really faded. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
Are your neighbors jealous?
I would be if I was them.
Thanks, Rob. Now it's time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. Genius.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
SherryClean.com.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
All around the window, we would only hold on to let go. Buckets, fire gun, we need someone to lean on. Buckets, fire gun, all we need is somebody to lean on. Buckets,
I'd love to see Nikki Haley. I'd love to see Liz Cheney. I'd love to see Nikki Haley, the chameleon, and Liz Cheney, who's not the savior.
I disagree. I think that Nikki Haley was an incredibly effective governor of South Carolina. Wait, Alyssa, I have a question for you. Aside from Ron DeSantis, a lot of people don't go by their actual real name.
What is her name?
I believe it's, I don't want to mispronounce it. It's Indian, but her background's Indian.
Doesn't necessarily, I think if she leaned into.
A ton of people don't go by their color name. Wait, a serious question.
So that was yesterday, or the report was yesterday from The View. I think it came from Monday. And Sunny Hostin was dunking on Nikki Haley because what's the conservative on there? What's her name?
I don't know.
Exactly my point. Nobody knows. She's keeps stumping for Liz Cheney to be the next president. Knock it off. Well done, View, which is why I said conservative women should be boycotting The View. You just shouldn't pay attention to it. But yet here we are. Sunny Hostin was clapping back, suggesting that Nikki Haley is a traitor to her race because she's of Indian descent and she goes by Nikki. Maybe she should go by her real name. And then, what does Sunny Hostin say? What is her real name? She goes, well, I don't want to mispronounce it because she doesn't know it. She knows something in her head about her being of Indian descent.
Mm-hmm.
And she wants the opportunity. I mean, I cannot imagine even if I, in the little peon status that I have in local talk radio, were to say something this objectively racist, I would be used, if somebody picked up on that, I would be used as another card to play in the game of obviously all these people are racist jerks. Nikki Haley today responded to Sunny Hostin on The View. Let's listen in.
You know, it's not the first time, and it won't be the last time that the hosts at The View come after me or that liberals come after me in whatever way. They can't stand the fact that a minority female would be a conservative Republican. You know, when I ran and won governor, a reporter went to a high-ranking African-American Democrat female and said, how do you feel that South Carolina now has their first minority governor? And she said, Nikki Haley's not a minority. She's just a conservative with a tan. So you look at what Sunny Hostin does, and, you know, the idea that, no, Sunny is not her name. Nikki is my name. It is on my birth certificate. It is an Indian name, and I embrace my Indian heritage. I have written 2 books that describe the struggles that my family had, what it was like growing up. But the idea that they can do this, you're not going to see her fired from that show. We're not even going to see an apology from that show because they let liberals say that about conservative Republican minorities all the time. But yet nothing is done. Had this been said about a Democrat, all hell would have broken loose.
Yeah, that's totally spot on, Nikki Haley. To suggest that she was not a woman of color, that she was a conservative with a tan or whatever she said. Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm breaking out in a rash even thinking about saying something like that on air so stupidly and getting rightfully busted for it if I were to make that misstep, but they don't pay for that. They don't have to. They don't live by the same standards you do. It's the same thing we were talking about in the segment before. Hypocrisy, people don't like it. Americans don't like it. It's an incredibly unifying force to listen and, dare I suggest, watch the disgust on Sunny Hostin's face when she is literally dismissing Nikki Haley and her relevance in the political sphere because she gets to say that Nikki Haley doesn't honor her heritage in an appropriate way. Nikki, you get Sunny Hostin, who gets to have an opinion on Nikki Haley and the name she goes by? What are we doing? It's the hypocrisy makes us crazy. And you sit around and you look at your friends or you see a story and you look around and you're like, does anybody else think this is a little crazy? Does anybody else feel like this is a little double standardy? Yes, you do. Everybody does. And honestly, I think the majority of the people on the left know that the double standard is there because they use it to their advantage. Some of them don't understand that they live in an alternate reality and that they have privilege, true privilege. The most privileged person that you can be in a society today is an uncancelable person. And those people are all on the far left progressive side of the aisle. If you want to be uncancelable, you do not get to be conservative. You don't get to be white. You don't get to be male. These are all things that inherently, upon laying eyes on somebody, if you see that they are a white male, they really do have to prove to you that they're not one of those white males. That's how we end up with hate has no home here signs in our yards, because the implication is that you have hate in your home. Should you not place a sign in your yard to remind everybody, oh, that's not here. Those neighbors, though, they don't have a sign in the yard, and I don't know about them. I can't speak for them, but I can speak for us. No hate here. That's where we are right now. Or a yard sign that has so many lines of things listed on it about how virtuous you are that everybody, when they drive by, they can be like, okay, check. I'm good with those people. They're my kind of people, because they've expressed with fervor all of the people who they don't hate. The truth is that they hate you. The truth is that the hate that Sunny Hostin has in her heart for somebody like Nikki Haley, who is an incredibly successful, strong, conservative representation of the opposite of the policies that Sunny Hostin would support. And listen, I get it. I know Nikki Haley isn't necessarily everybody's cup of tea on the right side of the aisle. I think she's great. Of all of the people who could be president in the United States, I think she'd be a great president. I don't know that she'd be my first choice, but she wouldn't be far I mean, I would be excited to stump for her should she run for president and get the nomination. She is a strong woman who is of the same sort of minority descent that Kamala Harris is. But she doesn't get to acquire that because she votes the wrong way. That just doesn't make any sense.
It absolutely blows my mind. I told you this off air. I said, I don't understand how their brain works as far as saying it's okay for me to say this. But like you were saying, it's incredibly racist for Sunny to say what she said. And then B, like her whole idea of what makes a person of color isn't their skin color. It's the way that they think. And if you don't think the right way, if you don't follow the same political ideas as Sunny Hostin, then you're not the right kind of person of color. It's just mind-boggling.
It is. It's a constant effort to value people for things that they cannot change about themselves. Because if any political party gets to look at something or somebody or a demographic, if they get to see that, okay, we're gonna talk about gender this time, or we're gonna talk about race, or we're gonna talk about religion, if we're gonna talk about country of origin or whatever it might be, this is stuff that people can't just change about who they are. You can't change your skin color. The political thought behind all of this is let's play on that. Let's use that to our advantage. If you can't change something about yourself, then somebody can use that against you. If you can't change the fact that you're a short person, let's point out about all the advantages of being tall. And let's go out there and remind the short people that, this world isn't set up for short people. This world is set up for people who are 5'10" and above. And if you're 5'4", you're not going to get to live the same existence as people who are 5'10" and above. If you're left-handed, the world is not set up for you. I mean, Brad, you're left-handed. You know that there are things in your life that I don't know what they are because I'm right-handed, because I'm privileged like that.
Privileged. Yeah, I've had to learn to do a lot of things right-handed because there aren't left-handed things out there for me.
Don't you feel attacked?
No.
Why not?
Because I can just manage, improvise, adapt, and overcome. It's fine. It's okay. It's just left-handed
But
versus
the right-handed people did this to you.
No, they didn't. I was born left-handed. It's just the way I am.
Born this way. I knew that you loved Lady Gaga. You struck me as a Lady Gaga person.
That's just between you and me
From
and
the moment
everybody listening now.
Well, Ryan Wiggins was so much of an advocate of Lady Gaga when you came here that you just became such a big fan. It's his favorite singer. That's what he does when he's staring out his window in his office. He's just thinking about Lady Gaga lyrics.
He's looking at his reflection thinking my poker face.
He didn't have a very good poker face either. Let's talk to Ryan Wiggins in a few minutes here. We're going to talk to him. He's got some stories that he thinks are going to affect the midterms. And I guess wants to know if we think they're going to affect the midterms. Something else that might affect the midterms. You watching the polls? Are you paying attention? Do you see a new poll be released and get all excited or get all upset about it? I'd love to know how you pay attention to election polls. You can go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and vote in our daily poll here in the live chat. Do you pay attention to election polls? Yes or no? Leave a comment and tell us why you voted the way you did. And we'll get a recap of those at 2:45 with Hannah. Stick around. We'll be back in just a minute.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
What will we do when we get old? Will we walk down the same road? Will you be there by my side? Standing strong as the waves roll over.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Brigitte Gabriel with us here.
The illegal immigrants allowed into the country are 270% larger than our standing military. We are at a crisis point. We are dying as a nation.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
This is Wiggins. I saw a great quote from Bernie Madoff. It said something like, those who want to be rich invest in money. those who are rich invest in time. Well, what about if I could save you both? Go to Genesis of St. Charles and check out a Genesis. If you don't know what they are fantastic luxury vehicles. And at Genesis of St. Charles, you will save both time and money because they charge MSRP. A lot of dealerships charging more than that right now, so you got to go in and do the haggle. This saves you time because you don't have to do that, and you're not going to pay more than what the sticker price, the MSRP, is, sometimes less depending on the model. So check them out at genesisofstcharles.com. They are located in the St. Charles Hyundai showroom. They're part of the St. Charles Automotive Campus. They are a quarter-mile east of Mid-Rivers Mall, just for a reference point, easy to find on Veterans Memorial Parkway. Like I said, young luxury here, plus 3-year complimentary maintenance. That's on a Genesis. Go to Genesis of St. Charles online, genesisofstcharles.com.
Why are some people afraid to enjoy their retirement? And why are some people so worried about spending money during their golden years? Maybe it's because they're afraid of running out of money. Maybe they're afraid of depleting their nest egg, either through spending too much or through investment strategies that could result in losses. Hi, my name is Ken Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. Do you have a fear of depleting your savings and running out of money too soon? Let me help put your mind at ease. I can help you create an optimal retirement income distribution strategy that helps to maximize income from your retirement savings and eliminate your fear of running out of money. Call 314-328-6000 today and schedule your complimentary retirement roadmap review with our team. That's 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
IZ Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Is your roof full of ugly algae black stains? Just one roof restore treatment from Frederick Roofing, and you've got a clean, beautiful-looking roof for a small investment. If it has anything to do with roofing, you need to call Frederick Roofing at 645-2000. 645-2000.
Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
What is it that's made Frederick Roofing the #1 choice for more than 80,000 St. Louis roofing customers? Is it Frederick's passion for customer satisfaction? Is it Frederick's own expert, licensed, and insured crews? Is it Frederick's ability to always provide an immaculate cleanup when the job is complete? It's all of those things and more. Frederick Roofing, the smart call to make for your commercial and or residential roof.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing. Frederick Roofing, 645-2000. Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
The med spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the med spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293-8123.
We are all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. September is World Ozone Month, so it's a great month to get rid of all your aerosol sprays and harsh cleaning products. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Time to get ready for fall. Make sure your furnace is ready to safely heat your home when the first cold snap hits. For heating service, repairs, or a new HVAC system, visit aircomfortservice.com.
If it's bumper to bumper or smooth sailing, Sue Thomas has you covered with dependable traffic. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
The song about
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Lots going on in the studio today. Good day to tune in and watch the YouTube stream and see what's happening behind the scenes. But as usual, at 12:45, we do Wiggins America.
FYI.
Except for today, you're fired. Just kidding.
Hey, oh, hey.
I don't even have the
That was a
authority.
little bit unexpected.
Lots going on behind the scenes.
He's unbothered.
When men like Lady Gaga, we don't call ourselves Lady Gaga fans. We call ourselves Gagas.
How long have you been thinking about that?
The whole break.
Okay.
I do want you to know, though,
Anyway.
that I came up with that instantly when you said it. And I was like, oh, now I'm going to lose credit for having it instantly because I had to wait to say it.
It's a good thing you explained it to us.
So, in Wiggins America.
Now you get credit. Wait, you should go put the point on the scoreboard.
I will. Hang on a second. I'm back. Okay, so in Wiggins America today, I wanted to bring up 3 stories that are a little bit off the radar that very much, people aren't talking about these right now, but by November 8th, the midterm elections.
Are you making predictions?
I'm asking you to make predictions, actually. I'm going to bring up 3 stories here and ask whether you think these could impact the midterms, whether you think they're going to be growing stories, or whether they will move the needle at all, because there's a lot of things, as you know, between now and then that could happen. Going into 2020, we all thought, oh, we know, the impeachment's going to be the big thing. And then by the time the November election rolled around,
Are they going to
talking
impeach Trump again before this midterm?
I think maybe.
We
That's
try
one
to
of
get the card
That's
out
one of
quick.
these.
Hey, this one worked last time. Let's get it.
You know what?
Where's Jerry Nadler?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Hide him.
They're going to find something from Mar-a-Lago and be like, well, got to impeach him again. All right. The first one is concerning student loan debt. So apparently in August, when Biden announced this $10,000 or $20,000 for some people student loan forgiveness, the education secretary said they hadn't created the application for this at all.
It's like the Affordable Care Act.
It's very much like that. Yes.
Do you know how much they spent on that website?
Oh, it was no, I don't remember the number,
Wasn't it
but I
like
do remember it was
21
really
million?
high. It was.
I think it was like 21 million.
Okay, I'm going to take a guess and say that it was 5 million.
5 million. It was a ridiculous amount of money, though.
As
You got
Andy
it?
looks it up.
Higher.
Oh, no, really?
Higher than 21
50
million?
million?
Higher.
No, a billion?
Higher.
Higher than $1 billion?
Higher.
I can't believe it.
Yes, you can.
My
I can't.
gosh.
Yes, you can.
Was it $5 billion?
Lower.
Oh.
Don't be ridiculous.
Yeah, Brad, come on. $1.8 billion.
Very close.
1.9.
7.
Oh.
$1.7 billion just to build the website, right?
In August
That's what we're talking about.
2014, the Office of Inspector General released a report finding that the cost of the healthcare.gov website had reached $1.7 billion. Here's the best part of it. It did not work.
No, it didn't. It
It didn't work. It was the hugest debacle ever. The whole thing, the bill, the cost, the website, disaster. $1.7 billion is one of my favorite / least favorite trivia questions.
They had to recruit insurance agents to help people understand even how to use the website too, because it was different people
Dumb.
would get different plans and stuff. It was a mess. Gosh, thank you for bringing that up, because that's what we're talking about here, kind of with the student loan debt thing. They weren't ready for it, which means the absolute earliest, they're working on it now, that anybody will be able to even apply for it will be early to mid-October. And even then, those people aren't going to get that debt forgiveness right away. So we're talking about after the midterms. Some people, they do have their information already, so it'd just be automatic, but the majority will have to apply for it. Do you think that would move the needle, maybe even for just some of the younger people or people who are counting on this?
Move the needle how?
For the midterms. Do you think that it could affect the election at all?
Like in either direction?
Either direction.
What do you think, Brad?
I don't think so. I could see, like, if it was a complete disaster and then it was a thing and all of that stuff, yeah, then maybe it would, but I just don't see it being that. I don't know that those that were promised student loan forgiveness, even though the website isn't working, the website not working or whatever it is happening, it's still moving, them doing something is enough for them. At that point, they'll wait until it doesn't happen before they get really upset.
The announcement itself was a bit of a surprise.
Mhm.
So that may be why. It wasn't that people were counting on this for so long and then all of a sudden they can't get it.
You're either team student loan debt relief or not. And I think those people are determined already.
Yeah. Number 2 is involving the United States beer supply.
Oh, huge.
How about this? The
Gigantic.
supply chain crisis and an extinct volcano are spurring a new beer shortage. Zooming in on this a little bit here, a carbon dioxide production shortage caused by natural contamination at a reservoir in Mississippi, an extinct volcano, is forcing brewers across the country to cut back and either make less or just pay a lot more to brew the beer. Beer prices have risen less than the broader food and beverage market, but it's about to go up between now and November 8th. You think that could move the needle?
Anecdotally, yeah, I think it is part of a bigger thing.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation. I got a friend who was talking about how the price of salmon went up, and they were talking about how it kind of seems like to complain about the price of salmon going up as much as it did. It's not something that you really feel like you can go out there and complain about, but salmon is something that if you work for a living and if you are providing for yourself and you want to have some salmon, then you get some freaking salmon because this is America and you do what you want. But if salmon is, I don't eat fish, so I don't know. But if salmon is $7 one day and $12 the next day, now maybe you don't have salmon and that gets under your skin and you have a right to be upset by that, just because it's like, if someone wants to go, oh, it's a first world problem. Well, yeah, it's a first world and I'm paying for all these problems in the way the federal government is spending money right now and causing inflation to be out of control. You do have a right to be upset about those things. And I think that story is very similar to what the beer story could be. And somebody's salmon, I'm not gonna see the price of salmon increase and go, oh, no, because I'm not buying salmon, but my family buys beer. So maybe beer becomes that thing for us. I think each one of those individual stories, when they spike, hits a different group of people. So maybe.
And I think beer might have even a bigger impact because to the salmon story, salmon affects a select group of people. I think beer has a wider effect and it's more broadly
Can that be the
loved.
title of this hour's podcast? Salmon affects a select group of people. Does that make people listen to this?
How about just a wider effect?
Yeah.
No, I actually think this could do something, because where do people have these conversations a lot? In bars. You're sitting around, you're talking, and all of a sudden your beer costs a whole bunch more. And you go, man, inflation's crazy. It gets a conversation going in places
yeah, but
that
then you
maybe
drink
it
too
weren't.
much and you forget.
Well, that's okay too. Well, you won't be able to drink as much
No,
because
you
you can't
won't.
afford it.
That's
So,
true.
think about
I
that.
see how this is going. This
The-
is going to be the decider, actually, is what we've determined.
Yeah, I know. I put that in the middle because I'm like, actually, that could have an effect.
Dirk on YouTube says beer, the new salmon. Here's that to you. Thanks.
Beer manufacturers across the country are taking note of that slogan.
Ew. That's like double ew.
The last one is one that I imagine is a yes, but I'm gonna read it because it's not necessarily the angle that we've been talking about it. The effects of interest rates, because that's a big news item today. Fed is expected to raise them, and they're raising them fast too. The rate for a 30-year fixed interest mortgage has doubled in 9 months, topping 6% last week. They had been around 3%, so a lot of people are rushing to refinance because they know they're only going up from here. But the Fed is trying to break the economy's inflation fever without pushing us into recession. But everybody's saying this looks a lot like 1980, which was also an election year, where they just have to keep going and going and going to a point where you were stunting the money supply so much.
I'm pumped.
What does that mean?
I was looking at electoral maps in 80 and 1984. That doesn't happen without Jimmy Carter.
No.
That's right.
And I honestly think we have Ronald Reagan in the wings.
I saw somewhere that experts suspect that interest rates would peak going up by like 4.5% somewhere in March. And like, will this move the needle? Yes, this will move the needle, because I have friends. I told a story about a friend that I have, just starting his life out, saving to buy a home. And every time he gets to the point where he thinks maybe I can make that thing, well, the housing market's too hot. Now that the housing market's starting to cool off.
Always working against him.
Everything is working against him. And he has a very focused understanding of why that is and who's causing those problems. And so I think that will definitely have
interest rates to me is an interesting story too, because I don't think that that's something. I think it gets to you way before you realize it's affecting you. I think I hope you don't have an adjustable rate on your mortgage, but if you do, maybe call Stewie and get a big loan refi right now. But your credit card debt. My family's incurred more credit card debt recently. We had to replace a lot of things. We used most of our savings in order to do that because we like to pay cash for things. But everything when everything was breaking at the same time, everything cost so much more than it had in the past. And then you all of a sudden, you're like, okay, I'll put it on the credit card. I'll pay it off in 2 months or whatever, 3 months. Well, it's more expensive and it's harder to do that, which means something else has to give. And it's kind of cumulative. It takes a little bit for you to get the connection between, I was doing okay, like even through COVID, like things, I was able to manage my money, our incomes, to live within my means. And I don't feel like I've expanded the way I've been living. And it seems as though the means aren't making it the way they used to. I think that's the experience that a lot of Americans are having right now. The question is, how many people are actually thinking like, oh, what are the interest rates on this? And when the Fed raises interest rates, how does this directly affect me? Well, we're going to have Stewie in this week to explain that to us because I need him to, like, I always say, explain it to me like I'm a child so that I can understand it. He will do that for us this week as well. Plus, lots of huge stories to hit between now and the election day. Of course, that's going to happen. We'll have it all right here on the Annie Frey Show. Vote in the live chat poll, Deroy Murdock, when we come back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
At Cordell & Cordell, we focus on representing men in domestic relations cases. Attorney CPA Joe Cordell. We recognize that our clients are going through perhaps the toughest time they will ever go through. We understand that everything that's important to them is on the table. Their assets, the role in their children's lives. That's an immense responsibility that our clients entrust us with. And we take that very seriously. We've been trained to do that. We've helped thousands of clients before. And it's our hope that you'll choose to entrust us with what's most important to you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives, which includes protecting men's financial means to do so. Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's St. Louis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town & Country, Missouri, 63017. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey, this is Wiggins. So what is most important to you when choosing a dentist? I would put up their friendliness, convenience, and cost. And so they're going to help you with all of those things at Fountains Family Dentistry. Certainly the convenience part to me, if you have insurance, it's pretty much going to be the same regardless. So the cost is kind of taken care of there. But if you don't, you can give them a call, and they've got new patient specials and things like that that they can work through with you. You can also look at that at fountainsfamilydentistry.com. So check that out at fountainsfamilydentistry.com. But also, when you call them and you set an appointment, you're going to find out that it is super convenient. They stay open late just for you and your work schedule and your family schedule on certain nights. They are open early on certain days. And that is the key to convenience, is getting that appointment when you need it and as quickly as you can get it. So, like I said, Fountains Family Dentistry, fountainsfamilydentistry.com. That is where you go. You give them a call, and they will take care of you lickety split. And that is the point. Brad is giving me signs. All right, I'll wrap it up. Fountainsfamilydentistry.com. They are in Fairview Heights, Illinois. Fountainsfamilydentistry.com.
Hi, this is Jessica Munganess. Stop by Dave Munganess St. Louis Honda to reserve your new 2022 Honda and never pay a cent over sticker. We also have a great selection of Honda True Used vehicles available on South Lindbergh that come with a comprehensive warranty and even have a 3-day exchange policy if you're not completely satisfied. It's the very best way to buy a pre-owned vehicle. So isn't it time you see the Munganess difference at Dave Munganess St. Louis Honda and our pre-owned centers? DaveMunganess.com since 1965.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hey, it's surprise move by Russia. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Just getting word the 2 U.S. citizens captured while fighting in eastern Ukraine this summer have been released. A family representative tells Reuters that Alexander Druki and Andy Hawin, both from Alabama, are part of a prisoner exchange brokered by Saudi Arabia, which also involves the release of other prisoners who'd been held by Russian-backed proxies, including several British nationals. This as Russia faces international condemnation on the world stage over the war in Ukraine.
No one threatened Russia, and no one other than Russia sought conflict.
President Biden at the UN rejecting Russia's claims of self-defense. Former President Donald Trump calls it a witch hunt, a 3-year investigation of his business dealings by New York State Attorney General Letitia James, who's now suing Trump.
State Attorney General James, in one line, summed up this suit by invoking the former president's signature book.
Claiming you have money that you do not have does not amount to the art of the deal. It's the art of the steal.
From allegedly inflating square footage of his Trump Tower apartment to the value of Mar-a-Lago, James says the former president got financial perks that most people don't. And it started with Michael Cohen.
His former lawyer testified before Congress and shed light on this misconduct.
James says the Manhattan DA is exploring a parallel criminal case.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Trump calls James a fraud, and one of his attorneys calls the claims meritless. A Fox News alert on the Fed's latest move to fight inflation just announced. The central bank hiking its benchmark interest rate by another 0.75 of a point. That's the third time in a row. The Fed Chair Jay Powell has recently signaled a longer run of aggressive moves. America is listening to Fox News.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Tired of companies like Google and Facebook watching everything you do online? There's actually a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with a push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Almost time to say goodbye to the heat with a cool front coming through. Partly to mostly sunny skies the rest of today. We should peak out at about 94. Then tonight, the front comes through fairly quickly. A couple of spotty showers. Otherwise, lots of clouds. 62 Thursday, clouds to start. Turning partly sunny in the afternoon, but much cooler Thursday, 72. 48 Thursday night, 68 on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Sunday, the Chiefs are back on 97.1 FM Talk. Tune in for the game from noon to 4 live. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Indianapolis Colts in a Midwest showdown. Game time is 12. Be here for kickoff and full game coverage this Sunday with the Chiefs, noon to 4. On St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Everyone is welcome.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-782-8000 or at chrisbuyshomeSt.Louis.com and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay their rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. And check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you have been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. Chris Buys Homes in St. or call 314-782-8000.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. That's ziprecruiter.com/radio. ziprecruiter.com/radio.
You may have heard about rising interest rates everywhere else, but at Diamonds Direct, we're helping you start your forever with zero interest rates. Get the unbeatable price Diamonds Direct is known for and enjoy zero interest financing for 5 years on any purchase. At Diamonds Direct, we believe now more than ever you need to make your money go farther, and we're making it happen with this extraordinary limited time offer. Get that $8,000 designer ring for just over $133 a month. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Get details and more now at diamondsdirect.com. Approved credit.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
If you're retiring soon, join us Saturday at 9:30 a.m. for your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Mark Cox here to tell you more about my experience with Window World. They replaced a couple of windows at my house. They were just panes of glass. We wanted to be able to get some airflow into the master bathroom. They came out, they gave us a free estimate, and then had the windows at seams installed in no time. Very professional. Lifetime warranty I get, and you get an extra double strength glass on their replacement windows that's not common. So you're getting a great price, simply the best for less. They do front entry doors, rear entry doors if you're looking to replace that back door or sliding glass door in your home. They've got a great selection at Window World. They're also right now offering 18 months, same as cash financing, of course, with approved credit. The preferred window of the St. Louis Blues. 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
Hi, I'm Mandy Moore. Stand Up to Cancer is closer than ever before to achieving its mission to make every cancer patient into a long-term survivor. To learn more and get Advantage miles, go to standuptocancer.org/American Rep.
Want to listen to 97.1 outside the listening area? There's an app for that. Download the Odyssey app, and one tap will turn the station on. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
We just got some brand new data from CBP, which reveals that last month in August, there were 12 individuals on the FBI's terror watch list arrested here at our southern border. That brings the total for fiscal year 2022 so far to 78 people on that terror watch list arrested here at the border. That is triple the previous 5 years combined. Just to put it in perspective for your viewers, from fiscal year 17 through 21, there were 26 of these terror watch list arrests. We are now at 78 so far this year, and the year isn't over.
So Bill Malugin reporting there for Fox News on the crisis that you and I both know is taking place on our southern border and seeping into the country everywhere, has been for quite some time. You know, we've been busting and flying migrants that cross the southern border. We've been busting and flying them all over the country for quite some time. This is not new information. This is not a news story. It just has become a story because a Republican governor sent these migrants to a very well-to-do leftist area of the country in Martha's Vineyard. Now we're talking about it because why? Because they don't want them there, even though these are the same people who have manifested sanctuary cities and sanctuary states. You can see the problem with your own eyes. You know it's there. You've identified it. You don't need anybody to tell you that it's there. And yet the political crisis that is Ron DeSantis to the Democratic Party, that's the issue that they want to make front and center for you. Deroy Murdock isn't falling for it. He's a nationally syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor, and a founding member of Project 21, and with us today. Deroy, welcome back to the show. Good to have you.
Great to be with you, Annie.
You as well. When you watch the real crisis that's facing this country get blanketed over by a lot of people in the media, by political people with political interests as a political crisis, how do you react to that?
Well, there's a political aspect to it, but this is an immigration story. It's a national security story. It's a public health story. It's a financial story. We've got these people coming in. At this point, I believe under Biden, we've had something approaching approximately 3 million illegal alien apprehensions on the southern border. Those are people who've run into the border patrol. We have something like 900,000 or more gotaways, people who we've seen but have not been able to catch. They're just on the loose. We don't know their names. We don't know where they're from or anything. Then you have the unknown gotaways, which we assume are here. We haven't even detected them through the binoculars. Who knows how many that number is? And again, those people are not on any records. We don't know their names, their passport numbers, anything like that. So who knows who those people are? And then we've got the 78 people on the terrorist watch list. Now, these are the ones whom we caught, fortunately. How many of them have we not caught? How many of them are out there walking around who are associated with ISIS or Al-Qaeda or Hamas or what have you? And are they just sitting here waiting to get a phone call from Tehran saying, blow this up, chop that down, attack this, crash this into that, or whatever it may be? And Joe Biden doesn't seem to have any interest, any concern, barely even a shrug of a shoulder from him and his team about this problem.
Yeah, and the American people are still living it each and every day, whether it be with, people actually coming in and consuming resources that they're not necessarily contributing to, or the other crises that take place when these people come across the border, human trafficking, drug trafficking. I mean, the fentanyl problem in this country is so dire right now, but we don't even see people actually who are in a position to do something about it talking about this issue, and sad story after sad story, tragedy after tragedy is taking place that just doesn't seem to hit the attention of the people who can actually make a difference.
And the numbers are huge. I believe the number of people who have died of either overdoses or poisoning from fentanyl under Biden, something in the range of 75, 80,000. And some of these people are drug addicts who know that they're enjoying illicit drugs or whatever. But I don't wish death upon them, but they know what they're getting into. And then unfortunately, you have other people who think they're just taking Adderall or taking something for a muscle relaxant or something like that. Little they know that this has nothing to do with Pfizer or Merck or Eli Lilly, but some cartels cooking up Chinese chemicals in Mexico, shipping into this country. And, you swallow one of those pills and you are going to die. You're not going to wake up in the morning. You're going to be in a box with your family and friends grieving over you within a few days. And this is not just 5 or 10 or 15 people. This is in the tens of thousands. And again, no response, no concern, no interest on the part of Joe Biden and the Joe Biden Democrats to do anything about this other than rip the border even more open and let more of this fentanyl in, more Americans dropping dead from this, more American kids and teenagers dying from this poison. And the Democrats don't seem to have any concern. It doesn't bother them any more than a stiff breeze outside, perhaps.
Do you think, Deroy, that the issue of an unsecure southern border is a bipartisan understanding? Do you think that Democrats and Republicans alike know that we do have a problem there?
I think Republicans do. I think a lot of people on the right are concerned about this. We hear about it. I think people on the left may not hear about it much because if they're watching MSNBC or CNN, they're not hearing much about it at all until maybe, as you say, with this Martha's Vineyard situation, which exposed the complete hypocrisy of the caring, compassionate, open-hearted liberals up in Martha's Vineyard. They could handle these 50 Venezuelans for 24 hours. They got tired of them and called the National Guard to pick them up and get them the hell off of their beautiful island. island. These people said, "Oh, we don't have the room for them. There's a housing shortage." I mean, it's off season. That place has nothing but empty beds, beds and breakfasts, empty hotels. Lots of wealthy people who probably donated to Joe Biden who could throw their mansions open, let these people sleep in their pool houses, pitch tents on their lawns. Nope, couldn't have that. They were out of there within 24 hours. So there's the proof of their care and concern for all the immigrants to which they've declared their island sanctuary and opened and welcome to them. Well, not so much.
So we're speaking with Deroy Murdock, Fox News contributor, member of Project 21. He's also a nationally syndicated columnist. Deroy, yes, I think it was yesterday, the president, or maybe it was the day before, was speaking as he was walking out of the Oval Office, and somebody in the press managed to ask him about the concern on our southern border.
On the border, why is the border more overwhelmed under your watch, Mr. President?
Because there are 3 countries that there are fewer immigrants coming from Central America and from Mexico. This is a totally different circumstance. What's on my watch now is Venezuela, Cuba, and Nicaragua. And the ability to send them back to those states is not rational. You could send them back and have them, we're working with Mexico and other countries to see if we can stop the flow. But that's the difference.
If those 3 countries, Nicaragua and Venezuela and Cuba, are such horrific countries that we can't send anybody back to there, is that not an invitation for more people from those 3 countries to come here because you're going to be good?
Absolutely. I mean, what it says is if you're from Cuba, Nicaragua, or Venezuela, then come on in. We're going to let you in. And, I'm sympathetic to people fleeing communism. And if Joe Biden's policy is, okay, we'll let in people from Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela, but nowhere else. Everybody else has to go do what my mom did when they came from Costa Rica in 1962, go to the embassy and fill out a visa application. But if that's going to be the deal, I think a lot of Republicans will say, fine, we'll take the Cubans, Venezuelans, and the Nicaraguans, and everybody else has to follow the rules and apply for immigration according to a legal process. I'd be very curious to see if he'd accept that compromise. My guess is he doesn't, or he wouldn't. And what he wants is the 162 or so countries whose citizens are pouring across the border to continue to pour across the border, overwhelm our public resources, tie up the border patrol such that, as you say, the terrorists and the fentanyl and the other drugs are getting in. And this whole goal of this policy, in my view, is to bring in as many future Democrats of America as possible while they can. And these people, once they're here, they're not going anywhere. They're not leaving. And I guess the Democrats think that these people probably will vote Democrat more than they won't. And that's why this whole thing is going on. I think that's exactly the basis for it.
Deroy Murdock with us, nationally syndicated columnist. Last question before we have to let you go here. I've seen some prominent people in the media, maybe they're entertainers or show hosts for what I would consider to be leftist entities. You expect to have more progressive thoughts discussed there, like Bill Maher or Charlemagne the God, and even Trevor Noah from time to time, really kind of pushing back on the I think the politics of what President Biden has done or what this Democratic Party is doing, suggesting that maybe they've actually gone a little bit too far. Do you think that a Bill Maher speaking out like this, or even a Charlemagne the God saying, I think what Ron DeSantis did was genius to get more people to understand that that this is a hypocritical issue for the folks on the left to say we want them here, but not like here. Is this going to make a difference?
Yeah, by here we mean there.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it does a couple of things. One, it reminds people that the border is not closed, it's not secure, as Kamala Harris and the DHS secretary keep claiming. It's, if the border's secure, then how do these people end up getting into Martha's Island from Martha's Vineyard, I should say. So that's the first part. And secondly, the whole idea that, we welcome everyone, our arms are open, it's a sanctuary. Boy, that's been exposed as a total lie. I mean, you'd think they at least would let these people hang out for a week and get to see what Martha's Vineyard is like. Most people who visit at least for a weekend. Let's let them enjoy a good weekend at Martha's Vineyard. No, these people are gone within a day. Get off our island now. Boy, I mean, it looked like not only not only not a sanctuary, I mean, it almost looked like a bigoted response. Oh my God, who are these little brown people? Get them out of here right away. So I think they just exposed themselves to be total hypocrites, and that, as I say, not good optics. And I don't think that bodes well for the Democrats, the Biden Democrats on the left at the polls coming up in 5 weeks.
Yeah, Deroy Murdock will be covering it all the way up until the midterm election, and we always look forward to your insight here each week. Thanks for being with us again today. We always appreciate it.
My pleasure, Andy.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Nationally syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor, member of Project 21, Deroy Murdock. You've heard this story, potentially, the kind of breaking news of the day. New York Attorney General, this is from Fox News. The New York Attorney General's office has filed a lawsuit against the former president, Donald Trump, several of his family members, as well as associates and businesses, alleging, quote, numerous acts of fraud and misrepresentation regarding financial statements. Attorney General Letitia James said at a news conference Wednesday morning after the complaint was filed in New York Supreme Court that Trump, quote, inflated his net worth by billions of dollars, end quote, and that his children, Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric, helped him. Quote, Mr. Trump and the Trump Organization repeatedly and persistently manipulated the value of assets to induce banks to lend money to the Trump Organization on more favorable terms than would otherwise have been available to the company, to pay lower taxes, to satisfy continuing loan agreements, and to induce insurance companies to provide insurance coverage for higher limits and at lower premiums. Well, the Attorney General, the former Attorney General, Bill Barr, weighed in on this. And when we come back, we're going to have his response. I think he might be pretty shocked by what he has to say about this particular lawsuit. Is this the one that's finally going to land the punch? Or are we back in witch hunt territory? We'll hear from Bill Barr on this particular issue as soon as we come back. Do not go away.
I'll sing a marching song and stomp through the halls louder than you.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Just be pretending, no, I'd rather be dead than live a lie. Burn the lights out.
Talk saves lives. Join us for Odyssey's I'm Listening special, our annual 2-hour national mental health conversation, Wednesday, September 21st at 6 p.m. Hear from some of the biggest names in music and sports, insights from respected mental health professionals, and of course, your stories. Join us for a constructive and supportive conversation about our mental wellness, right here and on the free Odyssey app.
Listen live tonight on your home for conservative talk, 97.1 FM Talk.
Last night, I was on the website at cajonesinc.com, and I was putting together a house. It was beautiful. I want to live there. It's pretty much that simple. They have buildable plans on the website. I wonder if I still have it up here right now because I was doing it on my laptop, and I'm on my laptop right now. And I was showing my husband, and I was like, do you like this? Do you like that? Do you like this? Do you like that? This color siding or that color siding? Did you know that you can go to cajonesinc.com and pick out one of the different layouts that they have and start making it look like your own home? It's an amazing tool if you have started to dream, or if you're a little bit further than that and you're just trying to pick the builder on the Illinois side of the river. I want you to go to cajonesinc.com. Their website might just do the trick for you. I know them personally, so I can speak from experience of knowing Mike and so many of the other people there at CA Jones who have made that a community of people that I trust with this type of purchase, with this type of dream that you have. But go to their website, look at their products, look at how they care about energy efficiency, about great warranty opportunities, and see for yourself. You can go online to cajonesinc.com.
Mark Cox here. The next Protecting Your Retirement educational event is Tuesday, October 4th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Join me, Annie Frey, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. Seating's limited, so go online at retirementkey.com. Here's Thomas with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and concerned how all the market volatility is hurting your retirement accounts? Would you like to know why our clients have not lost a penny with all the market losses this year? Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can now roll over your 401k tax-free to protect your nest egg and still generate more income than most investment options? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you don't want to miss this last event of the year.
Protect your retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Tuesday, October 4th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. Call 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel.
but inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want, and Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
Summertime is no time to run out of energy, guys, and Victory Men's Health can help. Mark Cox here. Book your appointment today at any of their 3 locations. They're now in Wing Haven in O'Fallon, Missouri. They're in Town and Country in the original location in O'Fallon, Illinois. Victory Men's Health has 400 plus 5-star Google reviews. There isn't another men's clinic in town that comes close to that kind of rating. Book your appointment today online at victorymenshealth.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
SherryKelly.com.
West, on a plane bound west, I see her stretching out below. Land, blessed motherland, the place where I was born. Scars, yeah, she's got her scars. Sometimes it starts to worry me. 'Cause lose, I don't wanna lose sight of who we are. From the mountains.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
To the way.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
There's a way to find better days, I know. It's been a long, hard ride. Got a ways to.
I think we're clearly going to defend. We're going to defend and keep 50. Ron Johnson's ahead in his poll. Mehmet Oz has come back and is really barely behind. We're defining Fetterman. Ted Budd's ahead in the polls there. Herschel Walker's ahead. Adam Laxalt's ahead. As people get to know Blake Master, he's going to beat Kelly. We just got through the primary in New Hampshire. Hassan is underwater, and Fave unfave big. Biden's way underwater. We got a great candidate barely behind in Colorado. Tiffany Smiley barely behind Patty Murray. So we're going to have 52 plus.
So 52 plus is what Rick Scott is saying is going to happen there in the Senate. That's a big deal, of course. We appreciate you being here with us on the Annie Frey Show. I'm curious if you're paying attention to election polls. If you are, or if you're not, I'd love to know your thoughts. You can go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel where we are broadcasting live right now and vote yes or no. Do you pay attention to election polls? Yes or no? Lots of things are going to happen between now and then that are going to try to influence your vote and try to sway those polls into favoring one side or the other. And it always seems as though it comes back to Trump. And I didn't even say this to anybody else in the show because I wanted to see if we could do it. I wanted to see if we could get through a week without talking about Trump. We haven't talked about Trump yet on this show this week. And of course, there's a news story that comes up, and it's a big news story. And I was reading to you from Fox News before we went to a break. The headline, New York Attorney General sues Trump over fraud allegations. How many times has Letitia James, the AG of New York, sued Trump or been involved in lawsuits? It's over and over and over again. Then there's been no blow that's been landed on President Trump. So here's the report. The New York Attorney General's office has filed a lawsuit against Trump, including several of his family members, as well as associates and businesses, alleging, quote, numerous acts of fraud and misrepresentation regarding financial statements. So this is something we've heard about Donald Trump. It's been alleged about Donald Trump the entire time. Remember when they got his tax returns and Rachel Maddow? Do you remember that, Brad? When Rachel Maddow was like, we've got it.
We've got it.
And then it was nothing.
We found out that he paid more taxes than most of the people accusing him of not paying taxes.
Yes. It was a big nothing burger. And the pursuit has always continued from there to suggest they want to make Donald Trump out to be a liar. They want to make him out to be a deceiver. They want to make him out to, like, the one thing he has that they could take is his successful business. They want to work really hard to try to take him down. And in the past, the part of this that's so frustrating to me is in the past, the allegations have been enough to hurt him. Whether it's true or not, they are able to throw these allegations out. Everybody on the left, in the left-leaning media, reports on it, talks about it ad nauseum, and they've been able to hurt him politically because the conversation is always continued, regardless of any factual basis whatsoever. We haven't heard these types of stories as much lately because the political blow that they need to deliver is not as strong as it has been before because he's out of office, except for the fact that we are about 48 days away from the midterm election, and they are still scared of Donald Trump. They still know that he wields influence and they want to stop him at all costs. So you have this steady flow. It's like mark it on a timeline. How far we get, we never get too terribly far away from a big Trump headline. And the big headline is a really big deal because they get as much oxygen into the story as they possibly can to make it last and burn as long as they possibly can. And then it kind of fizzles out and people kind of stop paying attention to it on the minute by minute basis. And then we get another story. The Mar-a-Lago story, Brad. I mean, people aren't really pulling their hair out about that right now. The people who are Trump deranged will still bring that up, but they still think that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin were in hotel rooms with women and P-tapes and stuff.
Right. Yeah. I was just kind of sitting here thinking about this. It's like, we're about to talk about this lawsuit that Trump is, that the New York AG is doing against the Trump administration, or not the administration, but Donald Trump.
Family in this case.
And the family. And they're not talking about the FBI raid. Like, all of that has been tempered down.
And the reason why there's a new story, to me, my first guess is that the other story doesn't have enough life left in it.
Right.
At this very important moment in time. What's so important about this? Well, we're 48 days away from an election. All of this stuff won't matter on November 9th because the ballots will have been cast, which is the same thing as the Hunter Biden laptop. It was important to get that story out for the Republican Party, for the people who were trying to run against Joe Biden. They wanted to get the story out and covered. Of course you wanted to peak right before the election. It's the same thing on the right that it is on the left. But the left said, we will not discuss this. It will not be discussed. And if you discuss it, you will be punished for discussing it. Because they couldn't have that conversation be taking place before an election. They do have that kind of power, but they certainly shouldn't. The truth belongs to the American people. The press is supposed to be the ones in pursuit of that truth to expose to the American people. Especially when you and I don't have the expertise when it comes to the legalese behind things or the access to the people who have the answers. You're supposed to have professionals who seek out those answers and expose the truth. Those are called journalists. Those are called reporters. I'm an opinionator. I get to have a professional opinion, and you have every right to think I'm the dumbest person on the planet. I just really appreciate it when you still listen to me every day. If you think I'm the dumbest person on the planet, but we still spend this time together, we have a working relationship. I appreciate that. Bill Barr, who comes out, he's the attorney general under the Trump administration towards the end. I would say their relationship at best is, quote, it's complicated. I don't think that I don't think that Donald Trump probably has too many positive things to say about Bill Barr. Is there any positivity left there from Trump to Bill Barr?
I don't think so. I think that I don't think Bill Barr has like animosity towards Trump.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Trump to Bill Barr.
Oh, absolutely animosity.
I think it's 100% there because Bill Barr his book is called One Damn Thing After Another. That's what his book is called. And it doesn't have flattering stories in it of Donald Trump. And you cross that line, you don't get to go back in the Trump world, the loyalty world. And Bill Barr has still said, if it was Donald Trump versus the Democrats, I'd vote for Trump. So it's not all or nothing with Bill Barr. I think it is with Donald Trump. Bill Barr spoke just about an hour ago on this issue to Fox News.
It's hard for me not to conclude it's a political hit job. And this is a woman who campaigned for office saying that, promising she was going to go after Trump, which I think is a tremendous abuse of office, to go headhunting and targeting individuals. So I think she was targeting Trump. And this is, after 3 years, a civil lawsuit, the gist of which is that when the Trump organization borrowed money, Trump personally guaranteed those loans. And to support that, she's claiming that he inflated his assets on his financial statements. Now, I'm not even sure she has a good case against Trump himself, but what ultimately persuades me that this is a political hit job is she grossly overreaches when she tries to drag the children into this. Yes, they had roles in the business, but this was his personal financial statement. It was prepared by the CFO. Accounting firms were involved in it. The children aren't going to know the details of that and be able, and nor are they expected in the real world to do their own due diligence and have it, reviewed independently. And so this to me looks like gross overreach, which I think is going to end up backfiring on them, because I think it will make people sympathetic for Trump, that this is another example of people piling on because of Trump derangement syndrome, this strong desire to punish him.
So he's saying there that the breadth of which this attorney general is pursuing allegations or charges of fraud, that it's not workable, at least in Bill Barr's eyes. And I'm somebody who, when Donald Trump named Bill Barr to be the AG, I thought Bill Barr was the piece of the puzzle that was missing that was going to get everything back on track. I thought Bill Barr was the guy. I thought that Jeff Sessions was the top mistake that Donald Trump made as the president of the United States, making Jeff Sessions the attorney general, taking him out of his Senate seat, that Senate seat then going to a Democrat. It was a disastrous domino effect of bad. I still look at Bill Barr and I see him and I look at him and his reactions to whatever's going on. And I really feel like he reacts on his own accord. It doesn't seem to me like he's out there serving masters. I think he's out there saying what he thinks and saying what his expertise lends him to. And sometimes I agree with him and sometimes I disagree with him. He seems to think that this is another political hack job on Donald Trump. We'll wait to see. We'll cover it as it goes. I have some comments here coming in on the live chat right now. Xavier is criticizing what we're saying here and saying the crime isn't the problem. It's the media coverage of said crime that's the issue. Laughing face, suggesting he's being sarcastic. You have to be convicted of a crime. It is still a country where you're innocent until proven guilty. And he's been accused of a whole host of things, but that's my point. To where we are right now, Brad, am I wrong? They've all only ever been accusations.
It's only been accusations, and he's been exonerated by the investigations, the extensive investigations that they've done. Like, if there was something to him by now, they would have hit it.
Anything.
They would have found it because they want to find it. Y'all, Xavier, yourself, specifically, you are looking for something. You've got your criminal. Now you're looking for a crime to apply to them because you can't realize that maybe he's just not a criminal.
And maybe Xavier just dipped in here for the first time on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. And maybe he saw that I am a conservative who hosts a talk show. And he's here to suggest that another person suggested here that the orange Jesus is perfect. I mean, have you heard this show before? Like, I happily will vote for Donald Trump if he runs in 2024 at this point, unless something else were to come up. There's nothing stopping me from supporting him if he's the nominee in 2024. But I've said many times, I think Ron DeSantis is the better thing for the country, for America first, for the movement that Donald Trump started. And I tweeted this yesterday. If Ron DeSantis and Gavin Newsom are the 2024 contenders, in my lifetime, I don't know that there will be a better policy plus receipts election where the American people get to say, what are your policies? What have you done with them? Here's California. Here's Florida. Now you decide, which is where I said earlier in the show, I'm pumped because those look like Walter Mondale type level losses for me. Those look like Ronald Reagan 1980, 1984 level victories to me because I think that the policies are better. And I've said this before, but I think that Ron DeSantis will be able to enact those policies with less obstacles than Donald Trump will. But if you think for a second that I'm going to be like, I can't vote for Donald Trump, Gavin Newsom's my guy, barf! Like, that's not happening. That's ridiculous. That would be maniacal to suggest that anybody but Trump is better for the country. Somebody is obsessed with Trump here. It is not me.
No.
It's you. And the individuals who we have several people who come on to the chat every day and they disagree with the things that we're saying. I can think of Paul, I can think of Kevin. They disagree with things we say. They give alternative positions and they argue their points. We disagree at the end of the day, but they talk about the issues. There are other people who will come in and have these conversations, and you have these folks in your life. Politics comes up. Doesn't matter how bad the situation is. They always bring it back to Trump. Don't take the bait. Don't sit there and try to defend Donald Trump because Donald Trump is there to serve you. I actually think Donald Trump knows that. Maybe some people would disagree with me. I think that he also doesn't know a fight he won't try to win. If it comes to him, he's swinging. But the issues are what matter because you are what matters. I said this at the beginning of the show. It's not the Republican Party that matters to me. It's not Donald Trump that matters to me. It's not Ron DeSantis that matters to me. You know who matters to me? My kids. Their future kids. Their ability to stay and raise a family in the state of Illinois, which is going to hell in a handbasket because the Democrats have unfettered access to power, control, and they're corrupt. That's what matters to me. I'm looking in the eyes of my 15-month-old child and wondering what I need to do to make it a better place for her to live. I don't give a crap about the leaders, about worshiping at some altar of some elected official who's going to come in and save the day. They never save the day. It's not good for business to save the day in politics because if they save the day this time, then they're not going to have anything to sell you in 2, 4, 6 years later. I'm looking at my kids, not worshiping at the altar of any politician because they don't have altars. People who are making altars to that are actually making idols of themselves. It's not about that. And if you find yourself gravitating towards that whenever a story like this comes up, think about how many times we've had these stories come up and they just kind of fade to the background. They just kind of go away. But for a day on a Wednesday at the end of September, we're talking about Trump again and those more allegations of fraud and of deceit. Prove it.
Well, here's another question that I have, and this is for everybody that's out to get Trump now. If he was doing fraud, if he's operating fraudulently now, why are we concerned about it now? Because he would have been operating fraudulently his whole life. And there was no instance of going after Donald Trump until he ran and won president. And then it was all about him. So if you need any more explanation for why this is a political move rather than an actual legal move, I'd love to hear it because I don't know what it could be.
Maybe he's been fraudulent his whole life, but prove it. Prove it. Otherwise, again, I know that there are people who want to show up in your life, people who want to show up in the audience here on the Annie Frey Show and talk about how we are obsessed with the orange guy and that he's perfect. Oh man, it's just a little projection going on there. I'm not obsessed with this man. I've been accused of not being obsessed enough with this man. I've been accused of being too obsessed with this man. I know where my focus is. I know where my priority is. And it's on America first. It's on making America great again. One guy said that. First guy to say that was Ronald Reagan. If not before that. Donald Trump didn't make that up. It's a good idea. That's why it keeps getting repeated. Go vote in the Annie Frey YouTube channel poll. It's in the live chat section. Do you pay attention to election polls? Yes or no? Leave a comment. Hannah's waiting for more comments, and she wants to see yours and set it aside to highlight it in an hour from now at 2:45 when we give the results of these polls. We'll be back in a second. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
But this is still the place that we all call home.
The Mark Reardon Show. Jim Talent, former United States Senator.
I'd say this virus was engineered. We don't know its capacity. The pandemic's over. It's been over for well over a year at least.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Young luxury is what you're going to get when you buy a Genesis. It is a luxury car, and peace of mind is what you're going to get when you buy it from Genesis of St. Charles, partially because you know you're not going to pay over MSRP, and you know you're not going to waste an entire day there going back and forth. Let me go talk to my boss and doing that whole thing. You know what you're going to pay for a Genesis at Genesis of St. Charles because they're doing business right. They're charging MSRP, and you don't have to worry about that. But here's the other reason you get peace of mind. Because it's a Genesis, you'll enjoy 3-year complimentary maintenance. So anything that goes wrong, you take it right back there to Genesis of St. Charles, and it's all covered. That's great. They are located in the St. Charles Hyundai showroom, part of the St. Charles Automotive Campus, just a quarter mile east of Mid Rivers Mall. So easy to get to on Veterans Memorial Parkway. Online at genesisofstcharles.com. That is where you should start, but drive one. You're going to love them. I drove one myself, and man, everything you could imagine is in a Genesis and multiple models to choose from. Online again at genesisofstcharles.com.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you may be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to getrefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com. That's getrefunds.com.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Here are a few quick divorce tips that we provide our clients. Number 1, don't move out of your house just because your wife tells you to. Remember, that's your house too. And number 2, don't blow through the financial statements that you file with the court. These are key exhibits, and they often make or break your case. And number 3, watch the social networking. Expect your wife's lawyer to do a thorough online search. And incidentally, this is a two-way street. Now, a bonus tip. Partner with your attorney in assembling evidence. You're one of the 2 leading experts on your life and marriage. Your attorney needs your input to achieve your goals. And finally, talk to your attorney before taking action. Good luck.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's St. Louis area attorneys. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town & Country, Missouri, 63017. Online at CordellCordell.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hello, this is Chad Clayman with ClaymanGroup.com, 314-946-9999, 946-9999. If you've noticed that interest rates are rising and prices aren't quite the same as they used to be, give us a call because we are cash buyers, and so we're not affected by interest rates. Where maybe the market was super hot previously, and now things have calmed down a little bit, and you're not getting the prices that you want, give us a call if you have a house to sell because we are cash buyers. 314-946-9999, ClaymanGroup.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get your HVAC system ready for fall with a heating system check included with all maintenance plans starting at $15 a month. For details and to get into your comfort zone, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Up to the minute traffic reports, so you don't have to keep looking at your phone. Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Stop me on the corner. Swear you hit me like a vision. I wasn't expecting. But who am I to tell Faye where it's supposed to go with it? Don't you blink, you might miss it. See, we got a right to just love it or leave it. You find it and keep it, because it ain't every day you get the chance to say.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for being here with us. Today's hot. Is it hot outside again today?
My computer says 94 degrees outside, so
You just
yes.
looked left and looked right. I'm like, what? Where are you finding information right now?
Yeah, that little taskbar says 94 and sunny.
91 degrees and my phone feels like 100.
Ew.
I'm okay with it. If my poll question today was almost, what's your favorite season? I'll ask you that right now.
What's my favorite season? Late. Can I say late spring? I don't like early spring because it's still too chilly, but it's like
it could snow.
yeah, but late spring as it's warming up, you go out in the morning, it's a little crisp out, and then it warms up as the day goes on, and it stays nice.
I like the hope that spring brings, but I think I last time we had this conversation, it's been a while. Everybody likes summer. Everything about summer is great.
Summer's too hot.
Summer's too hot. You said that like my 12-year-old when I said to go do something.
I'm a 12-year-old at
Summer's too hot. It's too hot in here.
I'm a 12-year-old at heart.
It's a lot. Oh my gosh. I mean everything. You go to school for 18 years of your life and you have the summers off, and then you just stop getting the summers off. There's always the hope that summer brings of like vacation. But now you get a week of it in the summer and you've got to work twice as hard before you go on vacation. And then when you come back from vacation, you've got to clean up all the mess that Ryan Wiggins established. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. You've got to come back. And in a lot of cases, I don't have to do it as much here other than to catch back up on the news. But, working previously behind the scenes for 97.1 for almost 10 years before I was on the air full time, you'd have to do things to get stuff ready for when you were out. And then when you got back, you had to catch up. And it's like, I maybe just shouldn't take a vacation.
I was there. I was absolutely there before my vacation this past summer. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm basically working 2 weeks in 1 week so that the week that I'm not here, I don't have to work.
As long as you can front load it though. It's the stuff when you get back and you're like, oh gosh, you just don't want to go back. Art says autumn for me, love the colors. See, I love fall. I love it. And I love snow. I love massive snowstorms and
same
being inside my house when the snow's coming down and everything, it's like really what COVID was. I hate to even say this, but a good snow day, we had like a snow couple years essentially with COVID. And the idea of a snow day where it's like, oh, it's not really safe to go into work. So I guess you'll just have to stay at home. You maybe can do a little work from home. Maybe you can't. Kids are at home. You just eat popcorn and cereal all day and watch movies or play video games. And you just like get rid of what the world asks of you every day on a snow day. I love that. Then Christmas goes by and then it's just cold and bleak. And I don't like that.
No. Winter after Christmas is probably
rude.
My least favorite.
It's rude. Makes me mad and sad. But you have that springtime like you're talking about. Like spring to me is the hope of no more winter, which is fantastic. But what it really is telling me is summer's around the corner. And I realized I don't really like spring as much as I like when summer is here. But when summer gets here, all I can think about it is it's ending. Because this is actually therapy for me. Thanks for being here in my therapy session. Do you know what I'm saying? You probably don't.
No, I'm sorry. I don't
Does
know.
anybody know what I'm saying? Please tell me on the live chat.
Yeah, I like when I think about seasons, I don't think about what the season means or what it presents or what's coming after or anything like that. I just like the moment of the season. So whenever I say I like late spring, it's because I just like how the weather is, the sunshine, that sort of thing. It's not that summer is coming, it's that I'm comfortable right now, and like the grass is always greener. This is going to sound really nerdy, but I had a lawn mowing business, and there is very little things that give me pleasure in life than a well manicured lawn.
No, I think there's a lot of people who understand
So
that.
it's a little in the weeds, it's a little nerdy, but like I love this way my lawn looks in the spring because it's nice and deep and lush and green, and the stripes come out when I mow it and all that. Now it's kind of crunchy, and I don't like that, but
No, I get that. I think a lot of people respect that. I have a hard time in life with transition and drastic change. I did this, I'm pretty sure I did this year with my 6-year-old and her kindergarten graduation last year.
Mm-hmm.
I did not handle that well. Like
No, I
it
remember
becomes an emotional weight for me because all I see is the passage of time. Not to quote Kamala Harris. Who could quote Kamala Harris? I know she said passage of time about 7 times in that one speech that she gave. But when I see time moving by and folks are going to say, Annie, just wait, because I'm 38 years old. People are going to say, wait until you're 50, wait until you're 60, wait until you're 80. I understand that. All I can think about is that it only rapidly goes faster from here. And I got kiddos and they grow so fast that every time something changes, it's like a slap in the face reminder that time has moved on.
I wonder if having kids, because I don't have kids, I wonder if having kids makes that more of like a front and center thing because you've got a constant reminder of that passage of time.
Constant. A constant reminder. I mean, my son being 12 and a half years old, he is 5'7" now. I'm 5'7 3/4. I don't think I'm quite 5'8". I was 5'10" when I played basketball in the book. He is eye level.
Mm-hmm.
There are times where I will put my arm around him and it's like putting my arm around a man.
Mm-hmm.
And he's my little boy. And when school starts, he's a grade older. When fall sets in, he's a season older. When Christmas gets here, his birthday is the day after Christmas, he's a year older. And then once Christmas gets past, it's the second semester of school. And I'm thinking, he's going to be out of school in no time. It's all about time moving. And I seriously don't do well with that. It's very hard for me. I don't know why. It just is. Let's talk more about that with Wiggins and Hannah when we come back. Don't go away.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Zero Res, and it seems like all kids do during summer is drag dirt into the house. I have one of those. They stink up the house too. The good news is Kids are back in school. And fortunately, there is Zero Res to the rescue. Zero Res is the healthy way to get your home feeling fresh and clean again. And even if your house doesn't look dirty, you should call Zero Res to remove the dust, the dirt, the dander, the bacteria in your carpet from a summer of fun. Zero Res is going to clean up the pizza spills and puppy piddles. They can get the yuck out of your carpet and your air ducts as well. Lucky for you, you can score big this month with great savings. It's the Mark Reardon KFTK special. Get 3 rooms pre-treated and cleaned starting at just $129. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning. That's 3 rooms pre-treated and cleaned starting at $129. Call Zero Res right now, 314-474-2020, or online at ZeroResSTL.com. And tell them you want the Mark Reardon KFTK special, 314-474-2020, online at ZeroResSTL.com.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is a Fox News alert. The Fed gets aggressive. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
My colleagues and I are strongly committed to bringing inflation back down to our 2% goal.
Fed Chair Jay Powell, after the central bank hiked its key interest rate by 0.75 of a point to the highest level since early 2008, also signaling the aggressive pace will continue, boosting their June forecast for the year-end rate by a full point to more than 4%.
Restoring price stability will likely require maintaining a restrictive policy stance for some time. The historical record cautions strongly against prematurely loosening policy.
Powell says the Fed will look for compelling evidence in the coming months that inflation is moving down. New York's Attorney General is suing former President Donald Trump, accusing him of years of financial fraud, including inflating the value of assets like his Florida estate, Mar-a-Lago.
Among the remedies that are being sought by Letitia James, the Attorney General, she went on to say that Donald Trump, as well as his 3 children, should be barred from serving as officers or directors in any company in New York State, and that Mr. Trump should also be barred from taking part in any real estate transactions for the next 5 years.
Fox's David Lee Miller, the suit names Trump's 3 oldest children who've been involved in his business, along with Trump, 2 executives in the Trump Organization. Trump ripping the suit on social media, accusing James again of a politically motivated witch hunt. President Biden just meeting for the first time with Britain's new Prime Minister, Liz Truss, who says the UK is reaching out to fellow democracies.
To make sure that democracies prevail.
That meeting at the UN, where Russia's president is being condemned as reckless for the war in Ukraine. President Putin is now drafting reserve forces, prompting mass protests in Russia, where one protest monitoring group is reporting more than 800 arrests in 37 cities. America is listening to Fox News.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Almost time to say goodbye to the heat with a cool front coming through. Partly to mostly sunny skies the rest of today. We should peak out at about 94. Then tonight, the front comes through fairly quickly. A couple of spotty showers. Otherwise, lots of clouds. 62 Thursday, clouds to start. Turning partly sunny in the afternoon, but much cooler Thursday, 72. 48 Thursday night, 68 on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Sunday, the Chiefs are back on 97.1 FM Talk. Tune in for the game from noon to 4 live. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Indianapolis Colts in a Midwest showdown. Game time is 12. Be here for kickoff and full game coverage this Sunday with the Chiefs noon to 4 on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Everyone is welcome.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-782-8000 or at chrisbuysHomesstlouis.com and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay their rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. And check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you have been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. Chris Buys Homes in St. or call 314-782-8000.
Our national debt is now over $30 trillion, an increase of over 20% in just the past 2 years. I'm sure you've been told at some point that taxes will be lower when you retire, but do you truly believe that? Now is the time to begin planning for the future of tax increases. Is your financial advisor helping you with tax planning for a tax-efficient future? If not, this is the time to call me, Ken Heisey, at Heisey Advisory Group, 314-328-6000. If you're like most people, you have a portfolio of investments, but a portfolio is not a plan. How have you planned for the potential legislative risk of increased taxes? Call Heisey Advisory Group now and let us help you create a plan to reduce the tax risk in your retirement. 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through A Wealth Management, LLC.
You may have heard about rising interest rates everywhere else, but at Diamonds Direct, we're helping you start your forever with zero interest rates. Get the unbeatable price Diamonds Direct is known for and enjoy zero interest financing for 5 years on any purchase. At Diamonds Direct, we believe now more than ever you need to make your money go farther, and we're making it happen with this extraordinary limited time offer. Get that $15,000 designer ring for just over $250 a month. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Get details and more now at diamondsdirect.com on approved credit.
Dell Technologies semi-annual sale has arrived, and it's time to save big on PCs with Windows 11 Pro. Plus, get great deals on top accessories, including docks, monitors, and more. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. Fruits and vegetables are very environmentally friendly foods. Make them even more friendly by eating them in season. Join Odyssey, and together each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Odyssey is your home for all the audio that matters to you. Download the Odyssey app today to listen to 97.1 FM Talk, even when you don't have a radio. Always streaming at 971talk.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rip my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thank you for spending some of your afternoon with us. A reminder, you can stream us on the Odyssey app. It's AUDACY. You download that app, follow 97.1 FM Talk. Take us with you everywhere you go. You can follow the Annie Frey Show, subscribe to the podcast there as well. Before we get to the conversation we kind of were having at the other side of this break, is anybody in here paying attention to what's going on with President Biden speaking at the UN?
No.
None of you. I feel like in when the president of the United States, especially when it's Joe Biden speaking on behalf of the United States of America, is out there having a conversation with the world at the UN and having, this opportunity to put forward what is important to the United States, and you have Biden out there speaking, It is something that I would want to lead into and I would want to know about. But of course, Donald Trump becomes the headline again, and he's always going to rise to the top. It's just what happens. And it's not really there's probably an equal, I don't even know. It's not an equal obsession. The left is far more obsessed with Donald Trump and the news headlines than the right is, but it's persistent. If somebody can make a headline with something Donald Trump says, it's what people talk about. Well, Joe Biden at the UN today.
Our investments will also help reduce the cost of developing clean energy technologies worldwide, not just in the United States. This is a global game changer, and none too soon. We don't have much time. We all know we're already living in a climate crisis. No one seems to doubt it after this past year.
A climate crisis. Of course, if you pay attention to the news and the media in the United States, that's all they ever talk about is the climate crisis. We have a lot of crises at our doorstep right now, literally crossing the doorstep into our home that is our country. But the climate crisis is what we end up talking about. It's what ends up being the foremost policy. They pass an Inflation Reduction Act. It's really an energy bill. It's really a climate bill. And what they have done to help you push back against inflation is say, if you want to go invest thousands of dollars in energy efficiency in your home, they'll give you a tax break for it. It couldn't be more out of touch. Other big things are taking place on the world stage, including what's going on in China.
Let me be direct about the competition between the United States and China. As we manage shifting geopolitical trends, the United States will conduct itself as a reasonable leader. We do not seek conflict. We do not seek a Cold War. We do not ask any nation to choose between the United States or any other partner. But the United States will be unabashed in promoting our vision of a free, open, secure, and prosperous world and what we have to offer communities of nations. Investments that are designed not to foster dependency, but to alleviate burdens and help nations become self-sufficient. Partnerships not to create political obligation, but because we know our own success. Each of our successes increased when other nations succeed as well.
Crystal clear from President Biden at his speech at the UN today. And the last thing he did there is he tried to push back a little bit on Russia and his comments about Russia's relationship to the UN.
Let us speak plainly. A permanent member of the United Nations Security Council invaded its neighbor, attempted to erase a sovereign state from the map. Russia has shamelessly violated the core tenets of the United Nations Charter. No more important than the clear prohibition against countries taking the territory of their neighbor by force.
I think that was a bold statement, but the way this man delivers a line, it's so weak. China, if you look at North Korea, if you look at Russia, are any of these countries right now, Brad, on the world stage, when you hear and you were cutting up that audio, I mean, do you feel like he's a man with presence and even with unspoken willingness and authority?
No, not at all. I don't think that he has presence. I don't think, like, if I was sitting there and thinking, if I'm part of the Russian Federation, I'm sitting there listening to his speech, you know, whenever he makes his statement, I kind of chuckle under my breath at it and be like, all right, whatever, dude. And same thing, especially China. China has got that, I don't know what you want to call it. I always like sports analogies. China's like that up and coming star athlete going after the veteran spot. And there's a certain swagger to him about it. And I don't care what you think, old man, no pun intended, attitude toward him. And like Biden goes out there and is like, we don't want a Cold War with you. He never made the statements like, we don't want it, but we're willing to do it if you don't get your act together. It was all, hey, let's just be friends. And that's not a position of power. That's not a position of strength. That's a position of weakness. That's almost rolling over.
Ryan, this hasn't even cut through the news.
No, I mean, how much do we watch the news? I didn't even know that this was happening. I think it's because they know there's nothing interesting or at least there's nothing beneficial that's going to come from this speech in terms of propping up Biden or Democrats. I'm glad you said that about the China clip, because as we're listening to it, I didn't know why. I thought maybe you were playing it because he had some sort of point that he was making in that clip. I'm listening to it going, this is just a bunch of nothing. And he kind of did that through all three of the clips, but that one in particular was nothing. If I'm China and I hear that, I'm going, well, shoot, this guy's not saying anything at all to us other than, well, we don't really want to rock the boat, which is not a great foreign policy message.
It is terrifying that he is the one that is representing our entire country.
Yeah. I'm looking at CNN.com right now, and there are 4 images up here. And one of them is that the Fed has made a 0.75 of a point hike. Once again, we're going to get Stewie on tomorrow to explain what that means for us in a practical sense. That's the headline. Fed makes history with supersized rate hike. The next one is New York Attorney General accuses Trump and 3 children of fraud. The next one on the side there is, I think it's the live TV, and they're talking about how Putin has mobilized 300,000 Russian reservists, threatens nukes, Russia's war on Ukraine. That's what CNN is covering live right now. And the other image is hundreds arrested in protests across Russia after partial mobilization announcement. There isn't even an acknowledgement that the president made this speech at the UN. If it were Barack Obama making a speech at the UN, wall-to-wall coverage.
Mm-hmm. Sure, as it should be. This should be news, and it's not.
And it's not. You got to think that it's more important to the people of the United States of America than the New York Attorney General suing a private citizen.
Yeah, especially in a time where there is a war happening. And that's probably one of the reasons that he's talking to the UN. I mean, this is a big moment in the Ukrainian-Russian war, and we have a part to play in that. We've been involved deeply in sanctions and funding Ukraine. This is new. This is the epitome of newsworthy stuff that's happening that's not being covered at all because it's Joe Biden.
It's going to continue. It's going to continue to be this way. If they cover it and they expose people to a speech like this, it does not serve a purpose. If it's news, if you're looking to expose truth or to just expose people to an event that actually took place, you cover this because he's the president. It's the UN, and you're talking about big key issues. It is a choice to not cover it. It is a political maneuver to not cover it. And, you know, I look at Fox News's website, and their lead story is Trump too, which to me says Trump sells.
Mm-hmm.
Trump on one outlet gets the eyes because everybody wants to rush to a defense. On the other side, everybody wants to rush to attack. But I don't think any of that has to do with people like you and me and our issues. If, like, for the sake of conversation here, just for a moment, Brad, if Donald Trump is found guilty and serves the rest of his life in prison, does that affect your life more or less than what China is going to do in the future, what Russia is going to do in the future, and the United States' relationship with it?
Absolutely less. Like, Donald Trump going to jail isn't really going to have an effect on me outside of people chirping at me about Donald Trump going to jail. That is like going to be the extent of how that actually has an effect on me. Whereas, like, if China becomes the dominant world power, that's going to change the way we do things and the way that we live in the United States. Whether you guys out there like to admit that or not, that will be the thing. There's the same thing with Russia. If Russia decides that they want to use a nuke in Ukraine, that's going to change things across the world. That's not just going to be Ukraine and Russia. That's going to be everybody.
It's going to change things across the world in a dramatic sense here because the United States is going to have to react. You don't get to sit back and just let that happen. The thing about Donald Trump and the constant pursuit to try to knock him down, and it is unreal that he has made it this far and they haven't found something on him. I'm pretty sure I'm a pretty prude and conservative living kind of person. I don't really have any skeletons in my closet. But if anybody were to spend this much time and money investigating anybody, I think you'd probably find something that was a little bit stickier than what they've been able to get Donald Trump on. They haven't been able to land it on him. The reason why the pursuit of these allegations against Donald Trump is in the interest of folks like you and me is because if they're going after him and they can continue to pursue him and wear him down and work him down with these allegations and a willful media that will continue to cover and just keep the ball in the air. You're never winning the game, but you got to keep the ball in the air. Can they do it to you? Will they do it to you? I think people have their eyebrows about as raised as they possibly can. That's the concern. We have real news issues that need to be covered, that need to be discussed, and our news outlets aren't covering them.
Yeah, this Donald Trump thing, though, with Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York, this kind of stuff is sending a message to future candidates that if you want to run and you want to take on the establishment, we're going to financially break you. And that is why that's a scary story. But there is news happening right now in the world that they're not covering because they're afraid of Donald Trump, because it's that same establishment that he's taking on that's pushing back against him, that's trying to continue to keep him in the limelight and try to knock him down over and over with whatever they can find.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to talk about another issue, one that we've covered this week. And there's been a development since we had Tom DeVore in studio on Monday on the Safety Act. He just held a press conference, and we're going to get what I think is his first live interview after this press conference on what he is calling a monumental shift in the Safety Act and its implementation in the state of Illinois. Is there even a legal basis for this to be implemented in the first place? Tom DeVore is going to talk to us about that when we come back. And listen, the Safety Act is a national story. Everybody knows that Illinois is about to be the first state to legalize or to be a no cash bail state. What's Tom DeVore have to say about that? What's his big news? He's going to have that for us here on the Annie Frey Show. When we come back, don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Howled at the moon with friends, and then the sun came crashing in. Whoa, oh, 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 oh.
Free speech is alive.
It's alive, it's alive, it's alive.
Right here at the frequency of 97.1. It's where St. Louis comes to talk freely. 97.1 FM Talk.
Stewart's American Mortgage, the bagel loan guy. When you want to improve your financial situation, we just heard that the Fed raised rates. They're hiking rates again 0.75 points. Well, what does that mean for you? We're going to have Stewie in tomorrow to talk about that and to get to the bottom of it. But he can talk to you personally about how he can help your financial situation with a cash out refinance with Stewart's American Mortgage. Or maybe you're looking to make a home purchase and you can't afford to go with somebody who's not going to guarantee you that lowest rate possible. And when you're looking to save money anywhere you can, this is why you use the bagel loan. He doesn't charge you all those closing costs that other lenders out there will charge you for. This is going to save you thousands of dollars when you're purchasing a home. Reach out to Stewie and talk to him about how he can help you with the bagel loan. Again, the bagel loan is called the bagel loan because it looks like a zero and you don't pay zero in fees that everybody else is out there will charge you for. I've used the bagel loan twice with my family and improved our financial situation both times with the bagel loan. I'd encourage you to give it a shot for your family as well. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440 is the number to call or text. You can Google the bagel loan and MLS number 226-715.
Hey guys, Mike Valeni for Cash the Ticket podcast. If you like sports betting or if you just like sports, it's the podcast for you. We try to cover all the big games and maybe some of the games you didn't even know were important, give you some angles, pick some winners, have a good time, and hopefully help you meander through college and pro football season. So join us a couple times a week to get all your information you need to bet the games that you watch. It's Cash the Ticket on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet Store. Do you want to walk and stay healthy, but cannot because you are in pain?
I just had difficulty walking. I could not walk in bare feet at all.
Do you keep buying new shoes and inserts from the drugstore with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet Store.
The Good Feet system fits in all your shoes. So come to the Good Feet Store and become pain-free today.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet Store.
Frederick to Cottleville, Clayton to Creve your city and more. Webster to Wildwood, the one you know. Frederick Roofing, wherever you go. For a hole in your roof, or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000. Aren't you tired of hearing ads that say they're the best, they're the experts, blah, 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 just one unsubstantiated claim after another? Well, here are two substantiated claims that actually mean something if you need roof repair or a new roof. With a family-owned business tradition of over 80 years and 80,000 satisfied customers, you can depend on Frederick Roofing, residential or commercial.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing. Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. Over the past decade, Coalition Life has served thousands of women in crisis pregnancies, helping to save the lives of the children that they carry. Help us build a better community while also reducing or completely eliminating your Missouri taxes with a 70% tax credit. A $1,000 donation today to help these women could cost you as little as $141 out of pocket. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com. Thank you.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
This legislation marks a substantial step toward dismantling the systemic racism that plagues our communities, our state, and our nation, and brings us closer to true safety, true fairness, and true justice.
So that is Governor Pritzker talking about the benefits of the Safety Act. It's going to go into effect on January 1st in the state of Illinois. No cash bail state. And this would be the first state in the union to do that. Lots of people are very concerned about how this is going to affect the safety and security of people who live and, make their living in the state of Illinois. A lot of obvious concern about the people who will not be detained because they will not have the bail in place to hold them for some crimes that are pretty dramatic crimes. Well, we had Tom DeVore and Darren Bailey in studio with us on Monday to talk a lot about this issue. But since then, there's been a development. Tom DeVore held a press conference about this just about an hour ago, and he has decided to come back on here 2 times in 1 week to talk to us once again about the Safety Act and its legality. He's the GOP candidate for Illinois Attorney General. He's working to earn your vote this November. Tom DeVore with us now. Thank you so much for coming back with us, Tom. Great to have you here.
Go, Annie.
So I want to ask you about this news that you have delivered at this press conference. And there's a new legal argument that is being made about the legality of the Safety Act and its implementation. What can you tell us?
Well, there's 2 conversations happening at the same time. What does the Safety Act say? And then also another question of whether the legislature has the ability to do any of this in the first place. And so we've talked about exhaustively what the Safety Act says about what crimes it tries to say you can be detained, what crimes you can't be detained, etc. So beyond that, there is also a conversation to be had about what capacity does the legislature have to invade the purview of the judiciary, because it is an independent branch of government, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so what we're talking about is not only are we going to be less safe, we also have the ability to violate the rights of our citizens who are alleged to have committed a crime but presumed innocent. The Bill of Rights of the state of Illinois has very narrow circumstances of which we can detain pre-trial, because they're presumed innocent, someone who is alleged to have committed a crime. Detaining them without any opportunity for bail or to be released pre-trial. That's a very, very complicated thing to do. And our Bill of Rights says that only under certain limited circumstances does the court have that authority. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
What this Safety Act is attempting to do is to create numerous categories of more additional types of offenses for which the court, if it followed it, would be detaining people pre-trial without any ability to bail out whatsoever. Whether there's a financial component or not, it's a separate conversation. And so there's case law in Illinois that goes back decades from our Illinois Supreme Court that says the legislature cannot invade the purview of the judiciary and the Constitution and start creating categories of crimes to detain people prior to trial. The Constitution doesn't allow it, and the legislature is acting unconstitutionally. They have done that in this instance, and so, I now have people calling me from across the state going, wait a second. So if a citizen fits this category, the legislature is trying to tell the court they can just hold them and they don't have any ability to get out for 3 months. And I'm like, that's what they've tried. And now that they understand this, this pendulum is swinging both ways real hard, it's got people frustrated, and I've been explaining it to them, yes.
Tom DeVore with us right now. He's the GOP candidate for Illinois Attorney General. You can learn more about him at tomdevore.com. He is running for an office that would have a great influence on something like this. From what I understand, the current Attorney General, Kwame Raoul, had a big part in putting together the Safety Act and penning it so that it read the way it read. We've heard what the governor's words are on it. The point of the Safety Act is to provide equity so that there isn't a disparity of people who are being held as they await trial. But what I hear you saying is this Safety Act that was penned in part by Kwame Raoul, the current Attorney General, you're suggesting that it is unlawful?
It's unconstitutional because let's make sure we understand something. Equity, when you start taking the legislature, who are policymakers, to try to invade the administration of justice, that's a problem. But what I'm saying is it's unlawful is because it's going to have also the impact of detaining people in jail prior to their trial that the Constitution says you can't detain. There are going to be people's constitutional rights violated should these particular provisions of the statute, the court, follow them. Because while we all want our system of justice to work and to keep us all safe, etc., there's a competing interest, Annie, which means we can't violate the rights of citizens who have been alleged to have committed a crime. And so we can't just start saying we're going to detain all of these people and not give them any opportunity to be released beyond the circumstances for which the Bill of Rights says you can do it.
So, Tom, what I hear you saying is there are people who are going to be detained that maybe the Safety Act and the diversity, equity, and inclusion-minded governor and attorney general currently were trying to create a scenario that became more equitable. You're saying that there's going to be an inequity that is created.
Absolutely, there's going to be an inequity that's going to be created. Because, again, prior to them trying to make these changes, there were all of these offenses for which people could be let out of jail as long as certain circumstances existed. Now they're trying to take all that off the table and say, no, we have the ability to detain you for 90 days for this particular alleged offense. And the Constitution of the state of Illinois says you cannot do it. You can't detain them without giving them an opportunity to be released pre-trial because you're presumed innocent. So what we've had happen is both things at the same time, Annie. We're going to make the streets less safe because there's all kinds of categories of cases that they're saying, we don't even want them detained. Let them go. And then there's a bunch of other categories of cases to where they're saying, we're not even going to give you the chance to be let go, when you can't do that to those citizens who have been alleged of a crime. You can't say we're going to keep you in jail and never give you the opportunity for bail unless it fits this small category of offenses under the Bill of Rights within the court's authority. The legislature can invade those particular issues, and they're trying to do it. Kwame Raoul just said yesterday, well, yeah, I've got some concerns about this bail issue with the Safety Act. Really, Mr. Attorney General, now after 2 years and right before the election, you have some concerns? Where were you at for the last 2 years trying to defend the people of the state against an unconstitutional action of the legislature? He was silent and did nothing, and now all of a sudden he wants to say, "Oh, I've got some concerns." I'm sorry, it's going to fall on deaf ears with me from the Attorney General.
Thomas DeVore with us right now. He's running to beat Kwame Raoul to become the Attorney General for the state of Illinois. Is this just poorly written by the legislature? Did they not word this correctly? Are these people just going to be collateral damage that the Governor Pritzker, Kwame Raoul, and the supermajority of Democrats in the legislature were willing to allow these individuals to be collateral damage and just hope that somebody like you didn't come along and point this out?
That's part of it, yes. Keeping in mind, this whole 750-some page document got rushed through within 3 days of our General Assembly. One of the lawsuits brought up north by a Democratic state's attorney raises the issue of the procedural impropriety of how this was crafted and passed. Kwame Raoul materially participated, J.B. Pritzker materially participated in conjunction with the supermajority of our legislature. And so this bill is a product of a lot of things, but sloppy, irresponsible legislating was a big component of that.
Tom DeVore with us right now. Before we let you go, you've had a press conference on this. I don't know how many people outside of this press conference that you've discussed this with, but are you getting any response from people from the other side saying, no, Tom, you're not right because of this, that, or the other thing? Any response to criticism about your point here about what the Safety Act is actually going to do to hinder people's constitutional rights?
No, and that's the part that again, it's part of the nasty Illinois politics where you got people like Kwame Raoul, J.B. Pritzker, et cetera, who won't speak to the specifics, right? They want to engage in gaslighting and just generalized propaganda of, oh, that's not true. Oh, that's not true. They won't speak to the specifics. For example, Annie, remember when the governor went on TV and said, oh, if a lady steals some diapers for a kid, she'll sit in jail for 6 months? You remember that?
Yeah.
You know what the law says? If in the city of Chicago you get charged with shoplifting like that, the maximum bond that they can put on you is $150. And the law says that you get $30 a day credit for every day you're in jail and you can't bond out. So under the worst set of circumstances whatsoever, under the law, a person within J.B. Pritzker's hypothetical would sit in jail for 5 days. Now, I would suggest to you they don't sit in jail at all, but 5 days is the worst possible scenario under the law. But J.B. Pritzker says, oh, it's not fair that she sit there for 6 months. There's no equity. It is a complete bold-faced lie of gaslighting, and that's the only type of responses that we get from anybody on that side of the aisle. They won't have an intelligent conversation about the details of the law because they know it's a loser.
Tom DeVore, before I let you go, I just want to give you the opportunity to assess, a lot of times on an issue like this, there is a problem that Republicans, Democrats can agree upon, that this problem exists or that there is something that needs to be addressed. Then the solution drastically departs when you move further into the parties. I'm curious if you think that the Safety Act is an attempt to address a problem that exists. And if you do, if you have a solution for it, that should you become the Attorney General, that maybe you would encourage people to move down a different direction than one that is in the direction of the Safety Act?
The issue of, and they use it, again, more for gaslighting than they do anything, but the issue of we don't want people sitting in jail solely because of their inability to post a bond, especially nonviolent offenders, right? Now, I would suggest to you the reality is that doesn't happen as much as they would like to say, but let's say that it may happen on occasion. The way to address that and the way that it should be addressed is that we have a category, a small category of offenses. If you're charged with this, there is no need for monetary bond. Okay, now that's really what happens anyway, because judges don't put people in jail if they don't need to. But we could have codified that very small issue. But they didn't do that. They turned it into a 750-page behemoth that is so complicated and nuanced that it lost sight of that one issue that they were trying to address. So if I'm the Attorney General, I vote that we repeal. When I say I vote, that means my decision would be we go to repeal the Safety Act in its totality because it has a lot of other issues. And then we actually work to take these issues and break them apart and deal with them one at a time in a very concise, deliberative manner, because they need to be deliberated in our General Assembly so our people can see what's going on. That's where this whole thing failed. It needs to be repealed and put the good parts of it back in place.
Well, we appreciate your time, Tom. We're going to be continuing to watch this. I know that the Safety Act is very front and center for many Illinois voters, and a lot of people here sitting in Missouri and the surrounding states to Illinois wondering about what it's going to do to the safety and security of people's ability to live and to work in this state of Illinois. And we appreciate your giving us some of your time today to discuss it.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. We'll talk to you again soon. TomDeVore.com. If you want to learn more about what he is doing and advocating for, Tom DeVore is the GOP candidate for Illinois Attorney General. And he has said and discovered in his research, he believes that the Safety Act to be unconstitutional, violating a citizen's rights under the Bill of Rights. We can talk more about that as information continues to develop. We're very grateful he gave us the time today to talk on this issue immediately after this press conference. Let's take a quick break here. I want to encourage you to go to the YouTube poll in the live chat section of the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Do you pay attention to election polls? Yes or no? Would love to know your thoughts on it. Leave a comment if you are so inclined, and Hannah will highlight those along with the results of the poll when we come back. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
When all the stars will smile for me. When all is well and will is all for all. Forever after.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Jim Talent, former United States Senator.
I'd say this virus was engineered. We don't know its capacity. The pandemic's over. It's been over for well over a year at least.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
MySlim180.com is the website. If you're looking to drop the pounds and you want to get it off by Christmas, I want you to check out MySlim180.com. They have locations across the St. Louis area, I think 6 of them total. You can see the hours, you can see the addresses and everything right there online. But let's talk about what Slim180 can do for you. If you have looked at the clothes in your closet and you have a section of clothes that you just don't go near because it doesn't fit you right, doesn't make you feel good when you put them on, it doesn't make you feel good when you look at them, and you wish you could get back in those clothes, Slim180 can help you with that. If you are fighting some health concerns, if you have high blood pressure, if you have issues that are facing you on a regular basis and you've been told that losing weight would help you maintain some of those healthy parts of your body, talk to Slim180 about what that they can do for you. If you are somebody who wants to drop weight and get rid of it for the first time and for the last time, Slim180 can help you do that. They have multiple programs that are available to you, and all of the information that you need is online, but I encourage you to make an appointment, free consultation, go in and meet the people at Slim180 and understand how close you are to finally losing the weight. The information online at myslim180.com.
Is your retirement income at risk if you or your spouse needs nursing home or in-home care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. The cost of long-term care is one of the biggest risks in retirement planning. For many retirees, a single nursing home stay can cause a significant reduction in assets that can permanently reduce your retirement income. Fortunately, there are affordable and flexible options available today that can help you manage the cost of long-term care. Our team can help you address the risks relevant to your retirement, including long-term care. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right, nice, soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
Just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Hi, this is Jessica Munganess. Stop by Dave Munganess St. Louis Honda to reserve your new 2022 Honda and never pay a cent over sticker. We also have a great selection of Honda True Used vehicles available on South Lindbergh that come with a comprehensive warranty and even have a 3-day exchange policy if you're not completely satisfied. It's the very best way to buy a pre-owned vehicle. So isn't it time you see the Munganess difference at Dave Munganess St. Louis Honda and our pre-owned centers? DaveMunganess.com since 1965.
Need a break from the sound bites and the talking heads? Do you want information you can actually use? Information that'll change your life for the better? Then listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Time to get ready for fall. Make sure your furnace is ready to safely heat your home when the first cold snap hits. For heating service, repairs, or a new HVAC system, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Information to keep you moving. Dependable traffic mornings and afternoons with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy that you are here with us. Thanks. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. Every day we do a poll, and you find it by going to the Annie Frey YouTube channel. You can subscribe to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, get a notification when we go live, and 96% of the time I have the poll up ready to go when we go live. Today was not one of those days. But Hannah always gives us the results at 2:45. So take it away.
All righty. Well, let's read some comments first before I
You want to say what the poll is? Or do you just want to read comments?
I will read comments first.
Okay.
Karen says, pay attention to the polls. Yes. Trust polls. No. Which is interesting. Once again, the question is, do you pay attention to election polls? Yes or no? Another comment is from Janine. She says, I voted yes because I do find some of them a little interesting. However, I don't hold them to be important or highly accurate. Michael Scott says, I don't follow polls. In my 44 years, I've never been asked my opinion on anything. If you need my opinion, ask my wife.
Isn't Michael Scott from Office?
He
The Office?
is. I don't know or think that this is the Michael Scott. But
you sure it's not the character from the show that's commenting?
You
on our
never
YouTube?
know.
That'd be sweet. I might have to watch
Talking
The
about
Office
accurate polling. Xavier says polls can be helpful in context. They're less predictive given certain features of the system. Fred Hook from YouTube says, I don't follow polls because the poll takers are rarely neutral.
Is that Captain Fred?
What?
Hook?
I don't know. Here's some more.
Michael Scott and Captain Hook in the same live chat.
Wow.
Where else do you get that?
This sounds accurate.
Do you know who Captain Hook is?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wait.
Really? Well,
That's
hold
not.
on.
That's timeless.
I don't think that she knows who Captain Hook is.
That's not a generational thing. That's not like saying, "Did you watch the Teenage
I
Mutant Ninja
think it
Turtles?"
is. I think it is generational.
Apparently it
Wait.
is.
Do you know who Wendy is?
No. Like
Wendy Darling?
No.
No.
Are you familiar with Peter Pan?
Yes.
Okay.
Outside
Okay.
of peanut butter.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
You know that little character on the peanut butter jar?
I was a
He has a
Nickelodeon
nemesis.
household, not a Disney household.
You don't know who Captain Hook is.
No.
Have you ever seen the movie Hook with Robin Williams?
No.
If
Oh my
she
gosh.
saw Hook, she would know who Captain Hook is.
You would think that.
No, we're talking about Hannah.
I'm afraid to read these comments that are going to come in about me not knowing Captain Hook.
Please go to those.
G-Whips from YouTube says, I pay attention to the polls, but I know that many of them are skewed and inaccurate. Carlo from YouTube says, I stopped paying attention to election polls around 2012. Lori says, I do at times, but not always, as I get curious about how things are going. And let's see. Chris from YouTube says, I hit yes, but I meant to hit no.
See, this is why you can't trust polls. This is it.
That's a pretty darn good point.
This is exactly why. Thanks, Chris. You made my point.
Oh, shoot. I voted for Green Party.
Your $5 are in the mail.
It's like the end of Monty Python. What is your favorite color? Blue. No,
JC,
wait.
JC from YouTube says, I generally do not trust the polls, but it does help me make determinations in my campaign donations. I want to focus my money where it makes a difference. If you want to know where your money will make a difference, please listen to the Annie Frey Show.
Ooh, you can advertise here. Also, it's a good point about the last one there, influencing where your donations go. That's a lot of times who's paying for the polls, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like the amount of money and the desire to move money from point A to point B through polls. Oh boy, lots of that. So the money, the poll that is encouraging people to donate their money in a certain direction is being paid for by the people who need your money to be directed in that direction. It's a little incestuous, if you will.
Fred Hook commented,
Captain
Arg.
Yarg.
It's the captain.
Whoa.
Do you know what a pirate is?
Yes,
Okay, just
I
checking.
do.
I was gonna say otherwise you just think he like stubbed his toe.
And not the porch kind. We're talking about the high seas. Okay. All right.
Yeah, you know when an Amazon package gets delivered and then some jerk comes and takes it, that's a pirate.
Wearing a
Modern
skull
day
and
Have
pirate.
we
crossbones hat.
said in the studio whether we watch election polls?
I think we were going to.
Why don't we do that now?
Brian?
I think it's safe to say that I carry a healthy interest in
Why
the
don't you marry him?
Oh my gosh. I don't have a good comeback for that because I guess I should.
Because you've
'Cause I
not
believe in
considered that as a possibility yet.
polygamy with my wife and polls. I should never again say my wife and polls.
No, you should
No, you
should
shouldn't.
not talk about your wife. She's a lovely woman. She
Anytime-
doesn't deserve any of this.
I know. anytime- By the way, the flowers that you gave me for my birthday, they are on my table. And I never told her exactly where they came from. I think she was
On your
suspicious.
table at home.
Yeah.
You
in
brought
a
them home.
vase,
Did
yeah.
you give them to her?
I did.
How did that go?
She loved them.
What did you do?
She said, did they bully you into getting these? And I said, they did not, because that was the truth.
I gave Ryan 2 bouquets of flowers for his birthday that he could give to his wife because that is a gift that Ryan Wiggins would appreciate.
And we had some people from our church over last night. And the first thing she said was, Ryan got me those for his birthday. And I just said nothing. I didn't say anything. So
if she finds out the whole truth, is she going to be?
knows.
Is she going to be? If I were her, and I knowing her, she's a very smart lady. I think she's the type of person who knows when to ask questions and when not to ask questions. Because if you ask the questions that you already know the answers to, it's just easier to not ask them and just make a choice.
The problem is, I think she knows something was up because obviously when I bring a gift home, I make a pretty big fanfare about it.
And you were so casual.
And
about
I was
these?
just like, oh, I guess you caught me red-handed.
I like that you give her flowers and her response is, did they bully you into
I was also wearing a giant fur coat.
Did
at
you
the
take it
time.
home?
So yeah.
What did she think about the coat?
Court's still out. Jury's still out.
Did she like notice something was different when you were wearing it, or was she
certainly
just like, oh
noticed
hey,
that
honey,
I had a different sort of
something different about
sorta,
you?
yeah,
Feel a
walk.
little pep in your birthday step?
Had a different kind of gait as I was walking around the kitchen that day.
New haircut?
She couldn't put her finger on it. Something different about you. Like, well, I'm not going to say what it is. I just kind of moseyed around.
So the flowers are there, and to this point, you haven't had a conversation about the fact that you were gifted those flowers for the purpose of gifting them. You did what you were supposed to do.
I did exactly what I was supposed to do, and then anytime the flowers come up, I leave the room.
Like really fast.
Runs away.
It's cold in here. Gotta get a coat.
Oh man!
Good thing I got one of those.
Was that the doorbell? No, it clearly was not, Ryan. Well, let me just check real quick.
Ding dong. Brad, polls.
Election specifically.
Election polls.
I mean, whatever you're into.
Refocus here. All right. I like.
What are you talking about?
You taking a class?
No. I like to look into the polls, but I don't put a lot of. I've said this before. Polls are designed to provide a certain outcome,
and they swing many different ways, and you can swing on them.
It's a persuasive device, not
a what?
Perversive.
Yeah. You guys are terrible. Oh my gosh. All right.
I think we're pretty good.
Persuasive device, not a predictive device. They're there to persuade you to think a certain way, not to predict what's actually going to happen.
Very persuasive.
To your point, Annie, it's really about money.
To your point.
Always about money.
I'm only trying to derail the points here.
Right.
I'm doing nothing constructive.
Just walk straight into it. Hannah, what are your thoughts on polls?
Hannah, go ahead.
I've been watching them more frequently than I used to.
Sajay.
I don't know what that means. Captain Hook could be in Sajay. She wouldn't know. She wouldn't even know where to
I'm
start.
dropping Sajay. She doesn't know who Captain
What?
Hook is.
No, I do have results though. How about we read those? Do you pay attention to election polls? Yes or no? 58% of the people said no, they do not. 42% say that they do pay attention to them.
42% of people love me.
That's clearly what this poll is
That is
about.
not it.
I can't believe how much I watch polls. It's ridiculous. I feel like I'm doing something wrong because I'm so into them. And I know that 58% of people are looking at me like, you idiot.
That's not why.
I walk into a grocery store wearing that coat and I'm like, why do people hate election polls?
You need
Why do people look at me like that?
You need to wear that coat casually to places without any pomp and circumstance and just have your wife film the experience from a distance behind you and share it with us.
Do you know me? Do you know that I cannot do anything without pomp and circumstance? Even if I walk into a grocery store normally, I'm expecting attention.
Ryan, you have two modes. Over the top and completely unaware.
Yeah.
Just tap into the unaware.
That's a good idea. Never thought about that. All right, we'll see if I can pull that off.
Just on the first cold day, you wear that coat and you just wear it out and about. Or just start wearing the coat. Maybe other people will film you. I bet they do. Wouldn't that be fun, folks? If you saw Ryan out and about in the wilderness wearing that coat.
Especially if I was in the wilderness.
If you were there, how coincidental.
There's a guy walking around the woods wearing a big fur coat.
Oh my God.
Is that a guy or a bear?
Man, if you didn't hear Tom DeVore, check it out on the podcast. Deroy Murdock as well. Mark Reardon up next.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to